Good morning, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
How's
Good
everyone
morning.
today?
I am
Hey.
Everyone sounds so tired.
I am. I may or may not have woken up not that long ago.
I was wondering how this was gonna work with your. I know you two are literally in the same time zone, but Broken also doesn't sleep on the normal time zone.
No, to be fair, I specifically fixed my sleep schedule as much as I could to not miss this.
Really?
So I did end up waking up very early today, so I just watched the stream for a little bit and went back to sleep because my ass was like, "Ooh, 5 a.m." Oh,
Oh, that was
so I just
early.
went back to sleep.
That is early. I think I was still awake at your 5 a.m. actually.
Why were you still up at my 5 a.m.?
You
'Cause,
sleep at
like,
all, Nix?
I did sleep. I slept at 12:30 last night. So that's like your 5:30.
It's been a very busy week, I think.
It has been a busy week for sure.
That's episode 12.
I can't believe we're
of
12 weeks in.
Nameless. Yeah. Look at us managing to do it.
I'm very surprised. I remember when we first started talking about this. And here we are with 12 weeks in.
You sound like you're pregnant. It's like, oh yes, I'm 12 weeks.
Oh my gosh. But why don't we
12
start
weeks,
with
that's... Oh, right, 12, 12 months in my head. I'm like, wow.
Oh, 12 months pregnant. God damn,
Oh
that's
my
a little late,
gosh.
don't you think?
A little bit.
I mean, elves live long, so...
That's
True.
true. That's true. That is very, very, very
How
true.
long is an elf pregnancy?
I don't know.
Let me Google that. How long is elf pregnancy? Um... Oh, wow. Elves can be pregnant for 100 years? What?
What?
You know, maybe 12 months is not as much as we thought.
What?
Wow. Elves can be pregnant for up to 100 years.
Nix,
Wow.
for your own sake, never have a child.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, no. According to Tolkien, elven pregnancy takes up 12 months.
12
wow,
months.
Ah, so
Okay.
the
Right, look at
baby is
that.
just coming. Let's go.
That's right.
Where did the 100 years come from?
I mean, where did either of those numbers come from? Whoever saw an elf pregnancy?
And
That
that's
is-
the cool thing about lore of fantastic creatures. Like when you go into D&D, you see how they take creatures from Lovecraftian, which is American, and Lord of the Ring, which is British, and all kind of
British.
different
British.
Yeah, you can't say British, you say British or
British.
A bottle of water.
water. That's the British way.
Oh, that's so funny.
Wait.
There you got two people with Hebrew ass accents trying to make a different one.
Library app 12 of Nix's channel. Hey Gerard, thank you for the lurk.
Thank you for the lurk and thank you for the hydrate, Rui. I don't have water.
I have water. I'll drink for everyone.
I have coffee.
I'm sorry. I've been dealing with so much stuff since yesterday. I've the
Really?
busiest semester I've ever had.
Oh, that's right.
And there's so many things and so many projects and so many crazy thoughts. We just need to stop everything, do the podcast for 3 hours. Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm MSL boy. I'm a D20. I'm a D20 mimic VTuber doing D&D tarot reading, gaming collabs. I'm joined by Nix. We're on Nix's channel this week. Hello, Nix. Did you do an
Hello?
introduction?
I am not. Hello, everyone. I am Nix Oleander, or should I say Nix_Oleander, as that has been a thing recently. I am a
An
half
underscore
lights.
VTuber.
Yes, underscore VTuber. I'm a half light elf, half dark elf. who does One Too Many Horror Streams and a weekly podcast. And we are joined here with our guest, Broken Brain.
Woo!
Broken, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I will say nothing except that I'm a fallen angel. My lore is not yet released, so you don't get to know anything either.
Oh,
Secret lore. Let's
secret
go.
lore. Rewritten, actually.
Secret.
You're in the car? Really? I hope you're not driving.
Oh, in the car. I thought.
Are you texting and driving?
Well, I said it's in the car. Could be in the
I hope
trunk.
he's a pet. Oh,
In the trunk. He got kidnapped. Yeah.
That's one way. I'm parked. Oh, so you were driving.
Let's go. If Rui parked just to talk to us, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's dedication.
That's dedication. It's raining.
Is it raining water? Is it raining men?
Is it raining
I
cats
mean,
and
if
dogs?
it's raining men, I want to join. I want to pick one out.
It's raining men.
That's what thinking of that
Hallelujah.
song. Ghostbusters, hello. Welcome in. Let's see. Why don't we get started with some of our questions, actually?
Mhm.
I actually thought this was going to be a really interesting one because, Mimic, you've talked about wanting to. It's Ghostbusters, not not Ters? What? Let's see. Okay, how does that look? VTuber or face streamer? Because I know Broken, you used to be a face streamer
I did.
and
I
you
did.
switched to VTubing. And Mimic, you're trying to figure out if you want to stick to VTubing or go to face streaming.
Yeah.
I guess my question there is, for both of you, what's your personal experience from going to streaming with a camera to a model and going from model to camera? And why stick with one over the other?
I mean, I've had great experiences with both. I feel like VTubing really allows you to be as creative as you want with creating your OC and your lore and your backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. But you definitely also get a closer connection with your viewers if you stream with a camera.
Mm.
So it is really up to personal preference and how much you care about, because some VTubers just don't want to show their face. So it is really just up to personal preference. I think that if you stream with a camera, for the most part, a lot of people get stuck to one game. And people don't really watch them outside of that one game. While in the VTuber community, people watch you more for the content that you bring in your OC and your lore, rather than the game you're playing.
Mm. So then, at what point did you switch from streaming with your face to a model?
So I was just really burnt out, and I took nearly a year-long break from streaming. And I just figured like none of my community or anything would be there anyway when I come back, because it's been so long since I've streamed. I might as well just try something new. And so I decided to switch to VTubing.
That makes sense. So Mimic.
I've been. I tried to be a face streamer many years ago, but I tried uploading some videos to YouTube, but it didn't work out. I don't even know why. And then when I saw VTubers in well, the Hololive, Niji Sanji, and so on, I really wanted to try it. I didn't know if I'm going to stream or upload videos or how exactly it's gonna happen, but when I got the model, the dice model, I really liked it. So I kept doing that. And then when I kept doing that, there was a few times that I did a face reveal or a face stream, and suddenly, it feels like doing a face stream is easier. It's more like Broken Brain said, you get more connection to the audience. They can see your facial expressions. It's like breaking the chains, and there's something more realistic in it. So it's really strange, um, and gives me the feeling like it's a better thing even. So
I would
I yeah go.
go on.
I'm still one thing I saw. For example, I really like the Diablo series, right? But I felt like Diablo is not good for VTubers. There's a reason why not many VTubers stream Diablo. It's just not popular. It's not popular at all. But then you see face streamers stream Diablo, and it's very popular. And then there is the complete opposite with Yu-Gi-Oh, or with Genshin Impact, or with Honkai Star Rail that just came out. Anime games work really well with VTubers. Well, realistic games I feel work really well with non-VTubers, with face streamers. So the Diablo 4 is gonna come out soon, and I want to try this. I want to try streaming Diablo 4 with a face cam, and if I stream Honkai Star Rail, I'll do it as a VTuber. And most of my content is still gonna be a VTuber, but every once in a while I want to like breach out to being a face streamer and see slowly what's better for me.
Yeah, I think if you are comfortable with both, I would definitely encourage all streamers to give either of them a shot. Try VTubing, try streaming with a camera, and see what works best for you and what you're more comfortable with and what you enjoy more. As both VTubing and facecam streaming have their ups and downs.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I feel like when you say you should try both, I've actually heard from people the backlash of doing both actually. Because you're taking away from one of the communities or trying to use both communities in order to gain followers essentially.
Mm,
I mean, I think the VTuber community is extremely judgmental when it comes to that type of thing. Um, because people they always talk about immersion and all that type of stuff, and I get it, but there is no reason that there's no point if you're comfortable with both to not try and experiment. Because what if you enjoy one over the other and you just don't know it?
mm.
That's true. Because Broken, you and I know someone who is no longer a facecam streamer and is now fully a VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they said that their journey for their facecam is over and it's now just VTubing because that's what they enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see is like someone, I mean you as well, go from face streaming just to VTubing, because then you're kind of just getting rid of a whole group of people who would watch you, because now they don't want to watch a model, they want to watch an actual quote unquote person.
See, my issue when it comes to like with facecam streaming in particular, I feel like it's more of an issue. It's the fact of it doesn't matter if I stream with a camera or with a model. The community would be there if I'm playing the game that they want to watch. Because that's
Mm.
kind of an issue that I've run into when I streamed with a facecam. The streams would be exactly the same, but if I switched off of Call of Duty, suddenly my viewership would be like a quarter of what it usually is. So a lot of people within the facecam community watch for the game and not for the streamer.
Okay.
Hmm. I think in VTubing it's actually the opposite.
I was
Many
gonna say the same thing.
yeah, it's kind of interesting what you say because there's like me personally, for example, I usually watch people for the content for the game. But with VTubers, you can see Zatsudan, for example, the VTuber concept of just chatting basically. That's something that people watch for the VTubers themselves. That's very popular with VTubers. That's that's very interesting. Do you watch for the VTuber or do you watch for the content?
I
And
mean,
maybe it's better to um, well, well, at the end of the day, you do what you want, right?
Yeah.
There's this thing that really bothers me, um, and that's the the biggest VTuber out there with the most followers is Gaogura, and she has 4.3 million. That's it. That's the peak of VTubing. And if you go to face streamers, which is obviously a longer thing, but you can easily see people with 100 million. If you go to Mr. Beast or PewDiePie or other, you have 50 million, 20 million, 10 million. I mean, 4 million is not that big. In a way, VTubing is it's kind of like chaining yourself to something very, very, very small, very niche.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but also VTubing is growing
Mm-hmm.
at a pretty rapid pace. Um, because if you looked like a year, maybe 2 years ago, that number was a lot smaller.
Yeah, definitely.
VTuber is VTubing is definitely not a big thing yet, but it's growing. It's getting there.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before that number, the highest number of 4 million, is no longer, and it's much, much higher. So I think Broken's right where we had to give it time for the community to grow.
That's why I think we, as VTubers, currently we are growing with the VTubing community. While when you look at people like PewDiePie, like you said, he's been here since the start of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
VTubing wasn't a thing since the start of YouTube. So it's really just giving it time to see this community growing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's just giving a place for people who don't enjoy watching camera streamers or YouTubers as much. It's giving them people to watch.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I know people who only watch facecam streamers, but I also know people who only watch VTubers.
I same here, and I will admit I pretty much only watch VTubers.
Honestly, same. I mainly just watch VTubers, except for like my few close friends who still stream with a camera.
Hmm.
They are like the only facecam streamers I watch. Other than that, if I'm like scrolling through games trying to find someone to watch for a specific game or something, I will instantly go to VTubers. I won't really look at the facecam streamers.
What about you, Mick? Do you tend to just watch VTubers, or do you watch both facecam streamers and VTubers?
I used to watch a lot of facecam streamers on YouTube with shorter content, but I never actually sat down and watched a whole stream of a facecam. Although I did watch whole streams of VTubers, so that's a that's an interesting question here. I've been thinking about how cartoons and animation is associated with children in Western culture, and I kind of get this vibe from a lot of people that VTubers is childish or stupid. Um, and obviously it's not. It's the same concept of cartoons are for children, but then you have stuff like South Park or Rick and Morty, which is obviously not for children, but it exists in this weird connotation. And then maybe you have stuff like LootTubers, who are both cartoons but for adults. So I think
That's me.
VTubers, yeah, I think VTubers is like putting many people in this uncomfortable, unfamiliar grounds of what exactly is that, what's going on here, and it's like Broken said, it's new, it's early. We're gonna see where it evolves, but I really think, with me at least, it's a case of the grass is greener on the other side. I constantly think that if I do that, it would be better. If I do this, it would be better. Um, and I really hope that I can find out what's the best, maybe by just trying everything. Maybe if I go face cam, I'll just want to go back to being a VTuber and vice versa. I will say this: being a VTuber is harder. It's more expensive, and it's more taxing on your computer as well. There's many more apps that need to run in the background, and there's a lot of annoying stuff to deal with. From a technical perspective, being a VTuber is 10 times as hard as being a facecam streamer. Um, that's there's advantages of, obviously, you don't need to look good, you don't need to comb your hair, you can be naked or you can be in your pajama, you don't need to worry about what's behind you. It's easy in that case. But in the background, from the technical point of view, there's so many things that you need to deal with, so many small fires to burn, which is really annoying. Sometimes you just like to open the camera and just stream.
I mean, yeah, like I said, there is like ups and downs to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Both of VTubing and facecam streaming. Um, I feel like when it comes to facecam streaming, how difficult it is also comes with the actual tech you're using. Because if you're using like a normal webcam, then sure, it is easier. But if you're like me, when I streamed with a camera and I still have it hooked up and set up properly and everything, I streamed with a full-on DSLR camera. And
Oh,
so
dang.
trying to get the lighting and the settings and everything in the camera to be right for my situation. No, that was a bit rough because you have to go and it's set up only for one lighting situation. So if you
Mm.
can't control the lighting around you, it's gonna look like shit.
Mm-hmm.
If I keep my window open for the light to come from outside and I don't turn on the light that's behind my camera is gonna look like shit. But if I close that window and the light behind my camera is the only thing I have on, it's gonna look great. Because that's what it's set up for.
And see, I feel like for me, if I were to do that, I'd constantly have to have like an LED light on for my camera just to be
On
able
the face,
to work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to think about, yeah, like going back to earlier, like you have to think about like all, like what's in the background. Is someone going to walk in? Do you have animals that are going to walk in? What's the lighting like? And like I've heard from like some other streamers who I watched a long time ago, when they collab, like when face streamers, when they collab with like VTubers, they're just kind of like, it's so nice that they can literally just roll out of bed and start streaming. Whereas like I had to think about, how do I look? How does the camera look on my face? Is the lighting good? Is the angle good? Like there's things that both sides have to worry about, but it's different with face cams. You have to worry about, how does your appearance look? Do you look appropriate on stream? Whereas with VTubers, you have to think, does my model look good? Does all the technical stuff work?
Yeah, like is my rigging working properly?
Mm-hmm. There's all of that you have to deal with when you're a VTuber, but then when you're a face cam streamer, you have to think about like the physical appearance. It's two very different things there.
I mean, and that's another thing. And I know a lot of people are gonna say like, "Oh, I don't care," but at the end of the day, let's be honest, attractive people attract more viewers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
if you're not a traditionally attractive person, you'll probably have an easier time with VTubing because you can make yourself look however you want as a VTuber. And so that's kind of another thing which is sometimes kind of shitty to consider, but it is something to consider. Because if you are a generally more attractive person, you could have a much easier time growing as a facecam streamer than some other people.
Mm-hmm. So then, for both of you, if you were to pick one to stick with after hearing all of this, would you stick with a VTuber or would you stick with a face streamer?
I would probably stick to VTubing. I've tried both. I saw what I like more. I've considered the ups and downs of both communities. And I still chose to stick with VTubing, so I would probably just stick to that choice.
That's a big choice. I don't know. I really don't know.
Are you still
Um,
undecided?
yeah, I think it's stupid as it may be. I would go with Facecam actually. I
As-
think it VTubing might be easier to start but in the long run, I think right now Facecam will have more potential, and it's just a gut feeling. But that's what I think. Who knows?
Yeah, that is fair. We don't really know what's gonna happen in the future. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I feel like VTubing is on a wave where it's gonna rapidly grow, but at the end of the day, we don't really know if VTubing is going to rapidly grow or if it's gonna fall off. But we do know that Facecam is big, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to stay big.
Yeah. And I think you're right, Mimic. If you're gonna be doing this like long term, you want to stick with something that you know is going to benefit you. Well, actually, both of you want to make. Now that I think about it, both of you guys want to make VTubing a or streaming a lifelong career.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that you both have different ways of making it long term. Broken, you've switched from face streaming to VTubing, and then Mimic, you started off at VTubing but are considering switching to face streaming.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think growth and having a consistent income to live off of and making it big is possible in both communities.
Mm,
But as for the moment, um the ceiling for VTubing is a lot lower than it is for facecam streamers. Facecam streamers can currently make it a lot bigger than VTubers can,
yeah.
but it is doable in both. Some would say it's even easier in VTubing because the community is smaller, you have less competition, and the VTubing community is a lot closer to each other and a lot more connected than the facecam community. So it does help with growth. The fact that everyone kind of knows everyone, and the fact that you can just post a commission and get a bunch of traction on Twitter because it's a drawing of your OC, which is something that you can't really do that with facecam streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Clips don't
Mm-hmm.
really do very well on Twitter or whatever. They just don't.
I really feel like um, collabing and clips and stuff, mostly collabing with other people is much easier with VTubers. So, I mean, with Facecam, it's kind of weird going to another Facecam streamer. Hey, do you wanna stream together or something? It feels strange.
Yeah,
But with
and
a
that's another
VTuber,
thing.
it feels natural. It feels like in an anime convention, just two people in a cosplay, so there's immediate thing to talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of another thing. It's like collabing really isn't a thing in the facecam community.
Mm-hmm.
Most people just kind of stick to their friend group that they play with, and they don't really play with people that they don't know. They don't really network. And so, as a facecam streamer, if you try to network, people are gonna think you're just weird.
Yeah.
While in VTubing, it's very normal to see someone that you like their model and just DM them or find new people to collab with.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because yeah, like when you guys are talking about, it, I was thinking like, if you think about it, unless like you're in a group or unless you're like really close to other streamers, like face cam streamers don't do collabs with other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
it's
mean, they
very
do,
different.
but it's more rare. It's
It
less common.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think with VTubers, there's the Japanese industry brought VTubers and a lot of stuff with VTubing that comes with it. Like the debut concept of going with your presentation of who you are, what you like, what your streaming is gonna be like, and then collabing with other VTubers. It's something that's very Japanese. But with the Western kind of face cam streaming, it's a bit more different. It's a bit odd. It's a bit strange.
I
Mm,
also think when it comes to growth with VTubing, I think VTubing is really gonna get bigger and start seeing more growth as technology gets better, as you start having um higher quality 3D models and you start having more affordable full body tracking because it's gonna make it feel more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
than what you have with the 2D models and the 3D models now, where it's mainly just your head and your chest moving. Once full body tracking becomes more accessible, VTubing is gonna be a lot bigger because it's gonna feel like you're more connected to the VTuber. It's gonna add another layer of reality that wasn't there before.
Mm. Maybe the end will be kind of a combination of things.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
who knows? Go
Because
ahead.
I mean, what we should go for with VTubing and with technology is like, and we're already trying to do that as best as we can. It's to be our online persona, but have be able to mimic the reactions and the movements
Mimic?
that you get with, be able to do it like kind of look like a camera streamer with your reactions and your movement and stuff like that. No,
Mm.
the technology is just not there for that yet. But
Then
I
I'm
think
asking
a lot is
myself.
gonna change when it will be there.
Mm. I'm asking myself if you have that technology that can show you this perfect animated character with face expressions and everything. Why do we need that? Just have one of those beautifying apps that makes you look better in the camera. Maybe that solves the issue. But I guess wearing a costume is kind of more fun. It's more interesting. It's playful. And
Well,
since
yeah,
most streamers are streaming games, it's maybe it's a combination.
yeah,
We
I
like
think
playing.
that
Yeah.
again comes down to the whole creativity aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
As even if you use one of those apps, you can't exactly make yourself a fallen angel. You know,
Mm.
you can't
Mm-hmm.
have wings pop out of your back.
Yeah. Actually,
But that is something that you can do and sell with VTubing.
when you say that, I can think of the face streamers of not today, but I'd say 10 years ago. Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie and every one of them had strange hairstyles, right? They had weird colors like
Yeah, green for
Jack was
Jack and like
green,
red
and
for
Ninja
Mark.
had blue hair, and
Mm-hmm.
Markiplier has the red, and it was kind of their signature, their hairstyle and color, and their phrasing like "top of the morning to you, my name
Yeah.
is Jackson," and they stopped doing that today. All of them are kind of looking normal, like normal people, but VTubers are not doing that in our own way. Like I'm a mimic, you're a fallen angel, Nix is a mushroom elf.
But yeah, we can, because we're kind of doing the same thing, right? We just have more options because we are
Mm-hmm.
VTubers. We can, the only limitation is honestly our creativity. That's the only limitation to what we can do.
Learning to use face tracking properly show the expressions is a bit of a learning curve because there is never subtlety. Yeah, there's always this disconnection.
Mm-hmm. And there's
But
always
at the same
something
time,
changing with it too.
mm-hmm, at the same time, you can be fallen angel and other kind of things. Then I ask myself, let's go to the Japanese VTubers, right? The Japanese VTubers who started as VTubers, if you go to Kizuna Ai or Tokino Sora and Tokino Mito, Tokino Miko, I'm so confused. You go to the first VTubers. All of them are high school, teenage Japanese idol girls, right? There's nothing special about them. Some of them are like AI or a time traveler, but they all look normal. And today they have crazy stuff like angels and mermaids and dungeons and dragon monsters and elves and dwarves and all kind of other stuff. So we're getting the creativity crazier and crazier. But
Yeah.
other there's the VTubers who are just a normal person, just a high school student VTuber, although they're not a high schooler in their real life. So maybe that's also living a fantasy. A high schooler VTuber can live in a fantasy of going back to being a high schooler.
I think as time progresses with VTubing, um the VTubers that do have the more mythical concepts will probably do better. Because I think that was just the beginning of VTubing. It was a way to ease into it, right?
Mm.
Everyone looks normal, they just look like people. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that now that people are getting more used to VTubing, it's probably gonna start leaning towards the people who have the more interesting concepts, like the D&D monsters or the fallen angels or the elves. They're gonna do better because
What do you
it's
think?
something that you don't get to see always.
Mhm. What do you think of face cam streamers who would go with that, like dress with angel wings and makeup, or be a vampire or a mummy, and they will put on the entire costume before they stream, and they stream with that kind of cosplay every time.
Oh, that's
I mean,
interesting.
it's an interesting concept, and I definitely think that it could work, but I just don't think that it would sell as well.
Mm.
Um, just because it's gonna be very difficult to make it look right.
Mm.
Then again, I think of television, right? You have these cultures. I'm thinking of Yuval Bulbal is is an actor, right? He's a children's actor, and he has this character called Yuval Bulbal. Basically, the confused Yuval.
Uh-huh.
You can just like a confused Bobby or something, and he has this child's hat and colorful clothes and like I'm your pal and singing is very
He is IRL SpongeBob, is what he is.
yeah, he is SpongeBob in real life. Now, obviously, right, the real person behind that is not acting like that in real life.
Yeah.
But on television, he's wearing that kind of character and costume, who's completely different than him. Um, and if he's gonna be a streamer, I can imagine him just wearing the costume and doing his character every single time. Take Barney the dinosaur, for example. He's wearing an actual costume. Obviously, the person behind it is not a giant, fluffy purple dinosaur, but every time he's doing Barney the dinosaur, he's wearing that costume. So maybe that's something that we need to introduce to streaming.
I mean, I think it could be interesting. It might be an interesting concept to see, especially if people can actually get high quality costumes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's gonna be even harder than getting a VTuber model. Like getting a high quality costume that's gonna look good is gonna be more expensive than VTubing.
Mm.
Because you have to make sure, like, does it look good and then does it fit? And then you'd have to continue doing modifications to the costume if you wanted to change things.
And you have to
Yeah,
be in the
because let's
costume,
say,
wear the costume, and sweat inside the costume.
yeah,
And
because
then
let's
get
say
it cleaned professionally.
if you wanna have like if you want to kind of lean into VTubing, let's say if someone was trying to be a fallen angel but he wanted to stream with a camera, getting wings that look right is gonna be extremely difficult because you can't just have cardboard with feathers stuck onto it. It's
Mm.
not gonna look right.
Mm-hmm.
They're much more limited in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're obviously objectively more limited. I can't have teeth and tongues moving out of my hat. That's not practical. I can't be a slime, but slime tubers can be slimes, obviously.
I think both of VTubing and that are going to have the limitations. I feel like
Mm.
doing it with the camera is also going to be a lot more expensive. And most people just honestly would not be able to afford getting those high quality costumes that would actually do well.
Yeah.
Well, with
Uh,
VTubing, even if you can't get a 2D model, you can still at least get a PNG.
mm. Arrow is who is in our chat. Used to be a flash tuber and became a VTuber. I think a year ago. Arrow, if you're still there, are you there,
Oh.
Arrow? Can you tell us why you moved to being a VTuber?
Oh,
If
that's
he's there,
there's a
that
lot
is.
more people who went from
Hmm.
face cams to VTubing.
And actually, Arrow was very successful in the Portuguese community. I believe he told me that at one point he felt like he's limited to his own Portuguese community. He wanted to branch out to new communities to go English. And it's something that when I started as a face streamer, I did Hebrew content. So I edited my books on stream in Hebrew on YouTube, and I played some games in Hebrew. I wasn't confident enough in my English, and nobody really watched it, right? And maybe if I would continue, I would grow my audience slowly. But since I didn't see success immediately, I didn't care. As a VTuber, on the other hand, I felt like there's a giant world, and I got success very, very early on. There are so many VTubers who want to play D&D, and it was very easy to find collabs and find people to mix communities with.
Yeah, I
So,
think
Mm.
it's one of the reasons that I personally never streamed in Hebrew, because I
mhm,
know that the audience for people who speak Hebrew is extremely limited.
mhm,
Um, Hebrew is like one of the least spoken languages in the world as it is.
yeah,
And then if you think of the amount of people who actually watch content in Hebrew on Twitch or on YouTube, that's even less people. So the there really isn't that much. You really can't go that high
yeah.
if you try to make content in Hebrew. You can reach maybe like the most successful YouTubers in Israel maybe are at like 1.5 million, and like that's kind of the cap.
And that's so big. You see people like that, and you say there's like 3 or 4 streamers who speak Hebrew, and they reach very high. But you see their community. It's a lot of children and teenagers,
Mhm.
um, and they usually do things that I find cringe. Like they play sports game, or they watch sports, and it's like,
Yeah, a
I'm not
lot of
gonna
them
do that.
just play FIFA and watch soccer. I'm like,
I'm not gonna play FIFA on stream. Like, come
yeah,
on.
I'm not gonna play FIFA in general, bro.
Yeah. I should play FIFA just for the lols.
Just for the memes. Do you want to
Yeah.
do a Hebrew FIFA only collab stream?
For FIFA
Oh my
collab.
gosh.
Oh, and I want to say there's Aki-chan and Aki and Rabi that I collab with them a few times, and they're Hebrew speaking VTubers, and they only started branching to English recently, but they have a pretty big Hebrew speaking anime server on Discord that watches them, and they easily reach 10 or even 20 viewers at a time
Mhm.
of when they speak Hebrew, and they play Nintendo games. They play Kirby and Pokemon, and Arrow he reaches that kind of thing in a Portuguese community. I believe he reached like 100 viewers at a time, something pretty big, and that's it. He couldn't branch above that.
See,
So
that's kind of the difficult thing when you try to stream. I feel like in any language that isn't English, the cap for your growth is a lot lower.
mhm. You reach that point at one. You reach there at one point and think, where did I go from here? And here's the thing: if you want to change the language, you will lose
A lot of
all.
viewership.
Yeah. We last week we had Miss Virus, my VTuber mama, and she just changed the platform from YouTube to Twitch, and she also changed her main game. She used to play, I forgot the name, a big MMO, and
Mhm.
what was it, AGQ AQ3? I forgot
I
the name,
don't know.
but she used to play that, and she stopped playing the game, and she lost. She said 80% of her viewers. And how do you get up from something like that if you build yourself around a language or a platform or a game, and people watch you for the game and not for you? Then you're trapped.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what happened to me because I personally started with a camera on Call of Duty.
Mm,
And the reason most of my viewers watched me is because I was good at the game. I was playing competitively, I was doing tournaments.
I see.
But the second I would try to branch off to a different game, like 90% of my viewership would not be there anymore.
Even if it's a game that is similar to Call of Duty, like another
Yeah,
competitive
even
first-person
if
shooter.
it's another like competitive shooter, simply because I wasn't as good at that competitive shooter.
Oh, I see.
People
I
were
see.
watching for the gameplay. If I couldn't provide the high quality gameplay that they were used to, they wouldn't watch.
Mm. I see whether or not with Genshin Impact, people. There's some Genshin Impact VTubers right now who just play Genshin Impact and they can't go to a different game. I just started
Yeah,
playing Honkai Star Rail and I completed the entire content of the game in like 3 days. Um, now what? Now I can't really play it anymore, so I have to go
exactly.
to other games.
It's why like I do play Genshin, but I don't stream it. And
Yeah.
it's why I don't stream Genshin. It's because I don't want to be put into that bubble of a Genshin streamer and have viewers that won't watch anything else. It's why I am trying to make sure that I stream just in general a variety of games so that the
Mm.
community that I do grow will watch no matter what I play, and I don't stay stuck on a game.
That's
Hmm.
a great advantage of a variety streamer. And you think about it, the
Yeah.
big face streamers were always variety. Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Markiplier, they never stream one game.
Yes, but it is also harder to grow as a variety content creator.
Mm.
It is much easier to grow a community on one game and one game only.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're good at the game, you can make like if we're talking Call of Duty, you can make like weapon builds, you can make tutorials, how to get better at the game, all that kind of stuff.
I
Um,
see.
it is easier to grow as a content creator for one game, but your cap is much lower and you can't branch out. You're just stuck there. Once you've been put in the bubble of Call of Duty content creator, Genshin content creator, you're kind of stuck there.
You are kind of stuck because like you can't get out of that bubble of that, it's not bubble but like community, because everyone's there for that one game. And
Yeah,
then if you're
and if
doing variety, you're just getting different people every single time, which is
that's
good in its own way, but then you don't always keep them because they're there for that one game.
mhm. So if you ever want to switch games, you have to accept the fact that you're gonna lose a lot of your viewership. And
Mm-hmm.
so it really depends on how you want to go about it. If you can if you can manage to grow as a variety streamer, as a variety content creator, in the long run, you will have a lot more success than someone who grew off of one game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think in a way it's really hard to predict what's good, what's working, what's not until after you do it.
I mean, also the internet is always changing. What works and what doesn't is always changing. So something you tried a year and a half, 2 years ago that didn't work back then might be massive now,
Hmm.
but you just did it at the wrong time.
That kind of
Well,
makes me think like I feel like I'm stuck. I've had so many people tell me like, "Oh, why aren't you playing a horror game? Aren't you a horror streamer?" And
hmm,
I feel like I unintentionally put that own branding on myself.
that you're a
See, and
horror
that's
streamer.
yeah, and that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of something that's hard to break out of.
Yeah, because I'll always have people ask me when's the next horror game, and it's just kind of like I never intended to be a horror streamer. Like I like the games a lot, but it was never my intention. But now that I like look at my Steam games, a majority
Mhm.
of them are all horror games, and a
And
couple of my first few streams too were all just horror games.
that's why I really try to make sure that I'm branching out in games and I'm streaming variety. Thankfully, since I've started doing that, I haven't really had questions like that of like, oh, when are you playing this game next time? Because people don't expect me to play a specific game anymore.
Mm, I
People
see what
kind
you
of
mean.
know that I play what I enjoy and I stream what I want to stream. And for the most part, at least, most of the people that I see in my stream consistently join my stream. Doesn't matter what game I play, they're just there.
Hmm. I see what you
Mm-hmm.
mean. I kind of feel the same. If I look at my games, I would say that point and click adventure games have been something that I've been streaming a lot, and since the beginning. Because I grew up on these
Mhm.
old quests that I couldn't own when I was a kid, and now I can play them. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when I think about it retroactively, it actually works. So I would say that many of my viewers like puzzle games or point and click adventure games, or the
Mm-hmm.
chill vibes of those games. Although I never branched myself as, I never tagged myself as a puzzle or a point and click adventure VTuber.
But I feel like a lot of your community probably can tell that those are the games that you play.
Yeah. Then again, when I played Diablo, which is I love Diablo. I played a lot. I usually don't get a lot of viewers. Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Diablo 4, I get very very few viewers. But I really love the game. So I'm gonna have to, I guess, slowly build myself as a streamer who also streams Diablo 4,
Yeah.
And I hope that some people who watch Diablo 4, it's like I need the people who watch Diablo 4 need to like variety as well.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of difficult because usually a lot of the people who watch you for a specific game will leave once you switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why like I've been playing a lot of Warframe recently and I have been streaming a good amount of it as well. But I try to make sure to at least once every few streams to try and fit in a different game when I stream. So
I
that I'm
see.
not only playing Warframe and people won't expect me to play only Warframe because at some point I might not want to play it as much.
Hmm. Another issue I have is D&D, obviously. D&D is my most successful thing. People watch my D&D. There's a lot of people who followed me for D&D. So when I play a game, it's strange for them. Like, what the hell? Do D&D, don't play a game. Um, and I kind of remember when before I was a streamer, like a few years ago, I watched this D&D VTuber who did D&D with other VTubers. Hey, Dream, hello. Um, and after a D&D session, he would play a game. And I was asking myself, what the hell? Who would watch that? Why would I wanna? Why would I wanna watch you play a game? Go and do D&D. But then yesterday I played D&D with the Six Kidneys, and after the session I stayed there and I played this old point and click adventure game, a sequel to an old game. Um, it was actually okay. People watched me for a bit.
I think I mean one of the hardest things about streaming is viewer retention. It's very difficult to learn how to keep viewers entertained.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that just takes, it just takes time and practice as a streamer to figure out what people like and what people don't like. I feel like what you really should do as a streamer sometimes is just take a look at your own content and see in different streams what parts of it people liked and what parts of it people didn't, and you kind of take the best parts of yourself and show that on stream. You take the most entertaining parts of yourself and show that on stream because that's what people want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to watch someone VTuber or camera streamer. People don't want to watch someone just sit there and say nothing. That's not interesting.
But then
Unless
that's
if
the
you're
whole
good in the
point
game.
of Zatsus.
But Zatsu, you usually Zatsudans or just chatting stream are kind of parasocial relationship inducing. They're kind of a boyfriend girlfriend experience in a way.
Hmm.
I see many of them are like a cute girl VTuber sitting there and talking to these single guys, and or maybe it's a hot guy who's talking to these single girls, um, and they're imagining they're on a date. And even if you're doing something like a bro stream or kind of like a big brother thing, it still gives the feeling like you're on a date, you're doing something a bit more personal. And that's something I feel
Mm-hmm.
with Facecam, it would be strange. It would be very, very
Yeah.
strange.
I mean, because I feel like a lot of things, at least in the community that I'm in, right? I'm a fully 18 plus streamer. I'm very much in the YouTuber side of VTubing, right?
Hmm.
If I were to try to do that with a camera, it would be very strange because it won't be as easy for people to try and just sexualize me if I'm streaming with a camera and not an OC. It's very easy for people to sexualize this drawing that they see on stream, which is honestly just kind of my branding. I've also noticed that the VTuber community seems to work a lot better for LGBT streamers than it is for straight
Hmm.
people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seen a lot of LGBTQ fairies, people with ADHD, depression, OCD, autism. These kind of people who may have been cast aside by
Mhm.
community kind of find their place in VTubing,
In the VTuber community. Yeah.
which I think is naturally as toxic as it may be. It's still more wholesome and accepting than some other parts,
I
which
mean,
again
I
brings
think
us
it's
to
okay as long as we're not pushing anyone aside.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. I feel like that never like. I was aware about it, but I guess it never really came to my attention of like people of the LGBTQ community or people with ADHD or autism can't do as like they can do as well if they really try, but there's still that community who watches that aren't accepting. And so being able to stream with a model, a character, a PNG, they're able to hide that, which I think I never really thought about until now. It helps
Yeah,
them.
Um, I think in a way the VTubing community is a lot more accepting. Uh, but I also feel like in some other ways the VTubing community is a lot less accepting.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, within the VTubing community, it is gonna be extremely rare to find someone who cares if you're gay or if you have a different skin color. But then when it comes to, I feel like smaller stuff of like the second you stream with a camera, suddenly half the VTuber community hates you. Why? I don't know. They just do. Apparently, you're a fucking traitor or something if you stream with a camera,
I had
which is just
some
weird to me.
I had people who were kind of worried that I may be going to Facecam. Some people were like, "No, Mimic, you're not gonna be a VTuber anymore," and I said, "No, no, I'm gonna be both." There is a bit of a bias against Facecam streamers. I feel that.
Yeah, and I just don't see the reasoning or the point in it. It just kind of seems very weird to me
Mm-hmm.
There
that
is, I think it comes from a lot of Facecam streamers using or misusing the VTuber tag and deceiving their audience basically. And um, maybe maybe there's a worry with VTubers that this may sound very stupid, but there is some logic in that. Maybe it it like okay, imagine a class, right? And one person gets an A plus in their test, and now they kind of force everyone else to study more
Mhm.
or to push forward. Maybe when you become a face streamer, you're kind of giving other the VTubers the feeling like now they have to do it too.
I
It's like
mean,
I moved on to something better. Now you also have to do it, and it kind of
that
puts them in an uncomfortable position that they don't want to be in.
I know that just really doesn't make that much sense to me. Because again, it's all about preference. So whether you want to watch facecam streamers or not, or if you want to stream with a fake facecam or just as a
Hmm.
VTuber or both, it's all about preference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just I don't get it.
I think it also really depends on like where where you are in the terms of like your journey. I think like if you're a small streamer and then you see a decently big or a really large streamer go from VTubing to facecam, then they think like, oh, then maybe VTubing wasn't the way for me, or vice versa. And I've seen this a lot actually, is where a lot of facecam streamers, they see how successful VTubers are and they switch over, but then they get backlash from their community of like, why did you switch?
yeah. And it's again the thing of a mix, which is it's really stupid when you think about it because we're voice workers. You shouldn't care if the person is a VTuber or a face streamer or anything else. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't care about that. It really means nothing. But there's this kind of protection or fear maybe in the VTubing community. Like if you're not gonna stay with us, you're a traitor.
And I just think people should do whatever they enjoy. If they stream with a camera and they enjoy that more, then go for it. If you enjoy being a VTuber more, then go for it.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then there's no point in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, been talking about this for an hour. You wanna move to the next topic?
Let's move on to the next topic. I wanted this one to be the first one because I know that you both have had your experiences with the face cam.
Like this one is gonna take a while. Let's make this first.
I knew it was gonna be a little bit. So the next one is we're gonna go into the next one, which is merch a good idea?
Merch.
Also knowing that that Broken, you also have merch out.
I do.
And actually, this I am very interested to hear your thoughts on this because I have recently made the goal of when I hit 1,000 on Twitch that I would start merch.
Hmm.
And I guess going is like to you as well, Nick. Do you want to have merch? Are you in the process of making merch? Or with Broken, what are the struggles, concerns that you dealt with when it came to making your merch?
Nyx will just sell pics of her
I will
baby
not.
feet.
No pics of my feet.
I thought of doing merch. I actually got approached by a company who was doing merch like half a year ago, and they showed me all kind of examples of shirts with my logo and stuff like that. But I thought to myself, is it good for me? Is it right? Is it the right time? Will people actually buy it? Do I need that? So at this point, I decided that I don't have a use for merch, but it's something I want to get into in the future once I have maybe a bigger community.
Hmm. I mean, I think, at least for me, one of the biggest struggles with making merch was finding a company that actually does like make good quality merch.
Hmm.
Because as a smaller streamer, I don't have the luxury of being able to just buy stock and have like a made stock of merch that I'm just gonna ship out whenever someone orders. I need to
Yeah,
go to a print on demand company that's gonna make it whenever someone is ordering it. And so finding a company that does that and it's good quality was pretty difficult. And trying to figure out which company to go with. I also think that generally, as a small streamer, it's not a good or a bad idea to have merch. You just need to accept the fact that if you're a small streamer, not many people are gonna buy it.
hmm,
You just kind of have it there for a future plan. The way I see my merch is that right now it is there because it means that in the future, if I do make it, if I do grow, that's one less thing I need to worry about. It's already there.
Yeah. Cause like I'm like one thing too is like for me, you need to have a community who wants to buy it as well.
Mhm.
Because then that goes into another one of our other topics later is like, would you consider yourself a big or small streamer if you have merch?
I mean, I
I
don't
see
think merch
smaller.
defines
Yeah, I see smaller
there's
streamers with merch. I see bigger streamers
yeah,
without merch.
I don't think that having merch defines your like your size as a streamer. Because let's say one of the
Mm,
big reasons for me to make merch is honestly because I just wanted to wear my own merch.
that's fair.
Like I
Ah, I
just
see.
wanted to have a hoodie with my OC on it.
If I go back in time to when I started streaming, seeing a VTuber with merch does look a bit more fancy or professional. Gives you the feeling like they're more defined on their brand and platform and such.
I think at the end of the day, there isn't too much to say about merch. It's more of like a future plan. It's kind of something that you can future proof.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
because if I have it now, let's say if in a few months I somehow grow a lot, then that's one thing that I do not need to worry about. It's
That's
already there. I
fair.
don't need to start looking into companies and making merch and stuff like that. If I wanted to switch companies in the future, I can do that after I take care of everything else I need to take care of.
I see. So you do merch so you don't have to worry about it in the future.
Yeah, it's more of a future proof plan, at least for
Hmm.
me.
That's an interesting way to look at it. But then, like, I know that you started out with your hoodies. I
Mhm.
guess, in your opinion, from like how your merch is going so far, what would you recommend to other people to start off with? Like, I know some people start off with like keychains, people start off with stickers. You started off with your hoodies.
I mean, I think if you're trying to sell more, then the cheaper stuff definitely sell better.
Mm.
Um, but I personally just wanted to put stuff on there that I knew that I would personally buy and stuff
Stuff
that
you
I would
use, yeah.
personally use.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't buy a sticker or a keychain. If I were to buy merch, I would want to buy a shirt or a hoodie, maybe a mug.
Yeah, a
But
plushie.
yeah, like I wanted to put stuff on there that I knew that are it looks good and it's usable on your day-to-day life. It's why like my name is nowhere on my merch
Mm.
because I wanted to just have shirts and hoodies that look good.
I see.
Something that people can just wear even if they don't know me. It just looks good and people want to wear it.
Yeah, because I feel like there's also a lot of people who love merch, but then when it comes to like clothing or something on the lines of that, like they don't want to wear it out in public because it has a name.
Well, yeah, because if you just stick your Twitch name or your logo on there, then honestly, the merch most of the time just doesn't look good if you just have your logo and your Twitch name on there. If you want to make proper merch, something that people want to buy, something that people want to wear, you need to make a design that somehow connects to your brand, but also it just looks good so that even if someone doesn't know you, they might just like the hoodie and want to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Because for my merch, I went to my main artist, and I commissioned them for a merch design, and I paid for commercial use, and I put that on the back of the shirts and the hoodies, and that's the whole design. It's just a really nice commission of my OC.
So, Mimic, if I were to ask you if you were to make merch, what is the first thing you would make?
It's a good question. Maybe I'll need to make a new brand or something. Maybe just my hat with the teeth. Maybe just the big eyes with a 20. My face
Oh.
with a 2-0. Have to think about it. Have to do designs. Maybe I'll go to the community and give them a few design examples and ask them what they like.
Yeah.
Next, you have yours in your phone. You're using your phone. You're getting a phone message.
No?
Because we hear some. It's fine now. There were some crackles.
Oh? I wasn't doing anything. I was turning back and forth on my chair.
Next, your chair is loud.
It's the chair, man.
It's like I'm just turning back and forth on my phone on my chair.
No,
my
it's
phone's
okay.
over there.
It's
like-
some crackles. Poor Nix, every time she's here, like, don't move, don't breathe, don't do anything.
But yeah, I've been like, for a while now, I've been thinking of like stickers and like acrylic keychains. But I'm just like, I'm really not sure. Like, I keep on going back and forth on it.
See,
And
one of the things that I was thinking about, because I did have with the company that I worked with, I had the option to make stickers, right? But one of the things that I kind of thought about is like,
It's right already.
Tickle me mimic merch. Imagine yourself as
I
a little
want-
plushie doll and just tickle
Okay.
just tickle me.
nah, I
Sorry.
want underwear with that like written on the ass.
Oh my gosh.
Tickle me, mimic boxers.
Yeah,
Oh,
Would you wear them, Alnichi?
100%.
oh my gosh.
I'll make boxers on my. That's a cool merch. Boxers. You know, someone is wearing you. You can use
Yep,
them yourself.
My next merch idea, I'm gonna make boxers where on the asshole it just says brains property.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Broken, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, so when I was making my merch, I had the option to make stickers as well. The reason I decided to not make stickers is because I felt like when would you actually use stickers? I wanted to put stuff on there that would be
That's correct. That's a good
usable or
client.
wearable.
Who uses stickers? Yeah, it's something
Mm-hmm.
that I always wondered about. I mean, magnets, maybe you could put them on your fridge, but stickers, who uses stickers? And I
Yeah,
always thought with like sticker merch, why would I use sticker merch? I don't know. It's strange.
I feel
Sticker
like
merch.
stickers is something you buy if you're like a really big fan of the person.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I wanted for my merch. Because I do have like I don't have stickers, but if I remember correctly, I have like posters and stuff, right?
Mm.
But that's
Mm-hmm.
again because my whole that whole merch line is just a really nice commission of my OC. So even if you don't know me, it just looks good to have on your wall if you like the style of it. But when it comes to stickers, I feel like it's you only really buy that if you're a big fan of the content creator, and that just isn't what I wanted to put out.
Then what do you do with the stickers?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest,
You
I have a
put them on your
little
table,
drawer.
then you switch table.
Yeah, I honestly have a little drawer just full of stickers. I don't put stickers on anything.
You see, so it's like, so they're gonna sit there and collect dust. Like,
Mm. Let's see.
That's why,
Brain
like,
says. Dream
yeah.
says. Just my 5 cents on the topic. If I would go for merch, I would start small, especially if I go for stuff which is cheap. But I'm the guy who wouldn't pay $60 for a shirt or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Because some people just don't want to put the money out for that. And so it's just like starting out small, seeing what people like, and going from there. But then, kind of like our conversation just now is like, it's rare for someone to use stickers.
yeah,
It's very rare. Most of the time, they just collect it. I
Yeah.
myself, they were collecting dust in a little drawer next to me. And so it's just kind of like, do you really want to make stickers as merch? Like, it's a good idea, but who's actually going to use them? And then there's some people
that's
who they like it and they don't want to use it because they like it so much. And then that's why it starts collecting dust.
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of a thing of like, I wouldn't want my merch just like sitting there collecting dust. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want people to use it. It's kind of like buying a gift to someone. If you buy them a gift that, I mean, you want them to use the gift. You don't want them to never use it. Let's say you buy someone earmuffs,
Mhm.
but they live in a country that's never cold. They're never gonna use it. It's cute. They have your earmuffs that you bought for them, but
Buy it to
just no use
someone
for
in
them.
Israel.
Yeah, exactly. We never need to use earmuffs here.
Hell, it's so hot here all the time.
Yeah, like one day a year you can use the earmuffs,
Uh-huh.
and then you can go to a party like, hey, I'm using your earmuffs. Let's go.
And then throw them to collect dust for the next year.
Yeah, that's kind of a different topic, but that's why like weddings in recent years, you just don't buy a gift. You only give money, which is
Well,
kind of
yeah,
sad.
because I mean, that's personally what I would rather get, if I'll be honest. I might as well just get money and use that money to buy stuff that I need and that I'm gonna use than get a gift that I'm never gonna touch.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of sad. I think there was something beautiful about bringing a gift to someone. So maybe it's the same um with that. Maybe it's the same with merch. Why do you need the merch of someone if you could just give them money if you want to support them? So that connects to what Broken says, that the merch should be something that's really good looking, something that you would want to use on a daily basis. Like if it's a hat or a hoodie or I don't know, sleepers.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because it's also when you think about the long run when it comes to merch, you don't want it to be something that only your fans or your viewers, whatever, want to buy, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of the times, you want it to be something that can just kind of go around. You had viewers buy it and they walk around with it, and people like the look of the shirt or the hoodie that they're wearing, and they ask them where they got it, and then they go and buy it, a shirt or a hoodie, even if they don't know you, just because the design is nice.
So it's also a way to branch into new viewers, new audience.
Yeah, that's what you want. Because also, if you think of like monetary reasons, right, and that's something that people don't like talking about, but if you actually want to make it as a content creator, you have to think of the monetary value of things.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really it doesn't matter how big you are, you can't rely on just streaming for all of your money. Because then the
Yeah.
second you stop streaming, you're fucked.
Ah, I see.
So you have to have other sources of income, some that don't even relate to your your branding and your streamer career, maybe stocks or renting out apartments, maybe having a whole different company that sure you use your brand to um put the name of the company out there, but that's a company that can keep rolling and making money even when you're done content creating just because it's good.
Mm.
You need
Mm-hmm.
other sources of income so that you don't end up broke the second you stop streaming.
Welcome, Coco. I'm sorry for your nose. There's so many noses.
So then for both of you, since you want streaming to be long term, do you intend to have another job while streaming? If you're able to make your income from Twitch.
Hmm. Well, if I am able to make my income from Twitch, I intend to um take some of that money every month and put it into different things that could make me passive income, so that
Mm,
by the time I am done content creating, I can rely on that passive income to live.
Mm-hmm.
I can rely on the money that's coming in from whatever stocks, renting out apartments, and other companies that I will decide to open when the time comes to make me that income, so that the portion that I actually make out of content creation isn't that big of a portion out of my full income.
Also, if for some reason you stop streaming, like you said,
Yeah.
let's say I don't know, there was I think a year ago or something, there was this rumor that Twitch is gonna get bankrupt and close down, which was complete bullshit. A
I
bit
mean,
after
it's
that, there
ran
was
by
the same.
Amazon. It's not gonna get bankrupt.
Yeah, after that, there was the same reason about the same rumor about Twitter, and like every once in a while, everybody goes, "Oh, the company is gonna bankrupt.
Yeah.
We lose it. Everybody's gonna get fired," and so on. But things can happen. Let's say there's something happen and you get banned or you get cancelled or who knows what. You need other sources, so you're not gonna put all of your eggs in the same basket and
Well, yeah,
basically
because
lose everything.
because here's the thing also, even if you don't get canceled, whatever, content creation is not something you can do until you're fucking 90 years old.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
So it is something that while you are content creating, if you're making it, you really need to think about your future plan because you don't have that safety net of retirement. You're your own boss. You need to worry about your retirement money.
Yeah.
So while you're content creating, you should worry about making, maybe opening other businesses and investing and putting some money in a retirement fund, and savings.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start, you want to kind of get to a point as a content creator where the money you actually make from videos and streaming and all that kind of stuff is a small portion of your income, to where you're kind of doing it as a hobby again. It's no longer your job, it is a hobby. And if you want to stop, you will still be totally fine and financially stable for the rest of your life. And if you don't do that, you're just going to be fucked as soon as you stop streaming.
Yeah. Because a lot of people they don't think about the long term. They just think about how long am I going to be doing this for, and whether or not it's stable or not.
Yeah, you have to think about the long term because you're not going to be a content creator your whole life. And you don't want to finish content creating and then have to get another job.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're content creating, you kind of want to reach that spot where content creation is turning into a hobby again, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
income percentage wise, the amount you make from content creation is a small percentage of your total income, which means you can stop and still be financially stable.
It's all the future stuff that we don't want to think about.
Yeah, you have to
So
think about it as a
yeah.
content creator.
Mm-hmm. As anything basically. It's this big shadow that looms over in the
So
background.
yeah, every time, like if you're your own boss, it is something you have to think about because you don't have a retirement fund.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There was actually a law in Israel a few years ago that even self-employed people have to invest in a retirement fund. But then they kind of canceled it. They only limited to some things and so on. And they actually give you a punishment, a fine, if you don't invest in a retirement fund.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But that's kind of counterproductive. It's stupid in a way.
Great, take my money away because I don't put it in a retirement fund.
Yeah, that's why it
That's
didn't
so
work.
interesting.
Go
Yeah,
figure, politicians.
jeez. That's kind of crazy.
But then again, you do see a lot of people who end up very old. Maybe they don't have family members. They don't have a retirement fund. They don't have anything, and they basically become homeless. Um,
See, and that's why you kind of have to think about the future.
yeah.
You don't want to put yourself in that spot.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people don't think about that though.
Mm.
That's something that
And I
it's
mean,
overlooked so easily.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, there are content creators who stream their job. Um, but a lot of those content creators at the end of the day want to make content creation a career and leave that job. So
Mm-hmm.
like I have a friend that streams his work and his uni work too. He's an architect,
Oh.
and it is really interesting to watch when he streams his job. But at the end of the day, if he could make it as a content creator, that's what he would do. He would be a content creator. And so if he makes it and he decides to stick with only content creation, that is it's something that he's gonna have to think about as well.
I think that just goes back to mimics. It's green. The grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, you never know why. Like if I was to study, I mean, I tried streaming my writing, but then writing books is kind of like streaming. It's not
Yeah.
very profitable at this moment.
I mean,
Um, so it's like doing two things that don't really work. At
yeah, I
one
mean there
point,
is again ups and downs to everything, right?
yeah.
And before you pick one, you have to consider both the ups and downs of each side.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that any self-employed person has to do is
Especially in the
consider
art,
if yeah,
especially in art divisions, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you always have to consider, do you want to be your own boss or do you want to have that safety of a retirement fund?
Mm-hmm.
And like you you just have to, you can't just be like, oh yes, I'm gonna be my own boss without considering all those stuff.
And some people don't
'Cause,
consider it ever.
yeah, I mean there's a lot less safety if you're your own, but like if you are your own boss. But if you work for someone else, and go like the normal route, right? You work until like your no mid 60s and you retire, you have that retirement fund, you have money still coming in every month. It's a lot safer than being your own boss.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Also, it's a lot less headache. I just filed the yearly tax papers, and for the first time, I had to report about my Twitch earnings. It was such a
Oh,
headache. It was such a headache. There's specific forms that you need to report of foreign income and stuff like that. Ugh, that was so annoying to understand and file. And
wait.
uh,
Twitch is. Oh, I guess. Where is Twitch based?
it's America. It's Amazon
Yeah,
basically.
US.
But
Oh.
you have to go to Twitch's website and find their IRS codes and whatever, and put that and file this and file that. It's so annoying. It's really annoying, and nobody's gonna do it for you.
Yeah,
If
you
I
have
were
to.
in a company,
Yeah.
they would do it for me. That's easy peasy. I used to work in, I still work in a D&D company, but I used to work them as like a company employee and not a
Hmm.
self-employed person. Now I'm self-employed, and it was so much easier. Yes, you get a bit less money, um, but they do all the annoying parts for you.
Hmm.
But I
It
guess
is.
in video being I mean, unless you get into a big corpo,
Yeah.
you're going to do all the indie stuff for yourself. Most VTubers are indie.
Yeah, you're basically gonna do everything for yourself. There's no doubt about that.
Hmm. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think corpos is a concept of VTubing. Are there any flesh tuber like face cam corpos?
I
I wouldn't
mean,
say corpo and like
I kind of. They just call it something else. Because
I feel like it's
it,
more. Go ahead.
it depends how you look at it, because they just call it like stream teams, right? But it's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. It's kind of like the content creators of Phase and the content creators of Optic. It's kind of the same thing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So do they have like a manager who takes care of all the
Yeah,
money and forms and such? I
yeah.
see. That's very
Because
convenient.
there's also other groups where there are self-form groups, not by a company or anything, but they do hire like they have like a group, or because some people they'll have like streamer houses. They'll live in the same house all together. They'll
Yeah.
stream their own content, but then they'll have like their group streams too.
Mhm.
But they then hire on their own managers. They hire on the people to help with the income and all of that.
That's kind of cool. I want to live in a streamer house.
Would you ever live in a
Honestly,
VTuber house?
Yeah.
hell no.
Yes.
Wait,
That
why?
sounds so cool.
I wanna know your inputs. Yes or no on a VTuber house?
Oh,
VTuber house.
that
You go
sounds
first,
like
Broken.
such a pain in the ass.
Why?
Living with a bunch of streamers sounds like such a pain in the ass. Such a pain in the constantly getting pulled into people's content and shit.
That sounds so much fun. Although people might prank you when you sleep for their
Oh my
content.
gosh, 100%.
Today we're going to film Nix's baby feet.
No, not my feet.
Hey, can you imagine they will walk into your room while you're sleeping and take pictures of your feet, put it on OnlyFans?
Oh my gosh.
But then the next day you can do it to them. Free the feet.
I think the fun thing you could do if you live in a streamer house though is like you could always just get on each other's setups, like just stream with a different VTuber on a different channel.
Hmm.
Like, can you imagine you're collabing with someone, but you're on his account and he's on yours, just to confuse people?
That'd be
I think-
interesting.
I think VTubers and streamers in general need a lot of support. Mental support, surrounding environment support. If I go outside, I don't really have people here that I can talk to about this.
I
People
feel
ask
that.
me how's the internet, how's this, how's that. Nobody knows what a VTuber is.
Dude, all the time. It's like,
Mm.
how is this like Twitch thing going? And it's like,
Oh,
leave me.
in
It
my
doesn't
case-
matter how much I tell you, you're not gonna get it. So what's the
They-
point?
In my case, they don't even know what Twitch is. Like, how's the internet?
Dude,
How's the
so,
internet?
How's
like
the
my
internet
brother
stuff?
comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, do you have like hundreds of viewers yet?" And I'm like, "Do you think I'm a massive streamer?" Like,
And it's so frustrating to have basically no one. But if you live in a VTuber house,
yeah,
then you're
you always
constantly
have people who get it.
surrounded. Yeah, you're constantly surrounded by people who get it. You eat dinners together, and they can say, "Oh, I'm gonna stream this game. I'm gonna stream that game." You can easily collab with people if you want to. You can easily support people. If someone goes and say, "Hey, man, I didn't get viewers today. I'm so depressed." You can just sit with them and talk, face to face, like not,
Yeah,
and and there's also the matter of having constant technical help. Let's say
yeah.
someone's microphone doesn't work. Oh my god, can I borrow your microphone? Can I borrow your keyboard? Can I do this? Can I do that?
And
It
it's
sounds
not even
so
just that.
convenient.
It's like, oh, something is like messed up with your PC. You have a group of streamers that all kind of know their way around the PC to try and help you figure out what the
Exactly.
problem is and fix
Mhm.
it.
And think that um, there's I feel the urge when I do that, when I live with a bunch of streamers, I feel the urge to buy new stuff and surprise everyone. Like, hey, I got this new, I don't know, mouse pad. I used it once, I don't know if anyone wants to use it. It's like you live with family. It's kind of
But yeah, because
crazy.
a lot of us are like, I mean, I feel like a lot of us are, a lot of VTubers are like tech nerds.
Yeah.
So If you ever have
Yeah.
any issue and you're living in a VTuber house, you have like six other people who are also tech nerds, like looking at the PC, pointing out the problems that they can tell.
Exactly. There's this manga. How does it called? I shaved my beard and started live streaming or something. Um, it's about this guy who used to be a streamer and then he stopped and now he's living in this house and everybody in the house is a streamer. And it's so cool to see that. Imagine that you have a YouTuber and you have this girlfriend experience streamer and you have this Big Brother streamer and you have a VTuber and you have a bunch of people. It's really really
You
cool.
have
I
a
love it.
YouTuber in one room, a PG-13 streamer in the other room. You're
Yeah.
watching the PG-13 streaming and you hear yelling from the other room, like, I want a fucking dick in my ass.
I feel like that's how it is when I collab with you, Broken. People
Oh,
come for the
100%.
13 for like say so content, and then it's suddenly that. It's no different from like
Yeah,
yeah.
someone comes in, Nix is being say so, and suddenly I'm like talking to Chad, and it's like, damn, I want someone to come in my ass too.
I
It's
actually Coco in chat says something really interesting. Living in a content creator house would probably be a bad idea for me because I get cancelled. Other might also get cancelled since we're in the same house. How do you
it,
deal
Yeah.
with that kind of thing if one of you is cancelled in the worst case? But you know, from my well, it's different when you live with people in real life.
mm-hmm.
But from my experience, you VTubers can argue about some really stupid and childish things, and it's really
The
easy to
VTuber
lose.
community loves drama. It's
Yeah.
They really do.
So
I
what
feel like
happens if you get cancelled and you live in the house? What if someone tells you, "Hey, you got cancelled. You have to move out,"
so.
yeah,
It's
I feel
actually
like that's what would happen. I feel like they would push you out.
or
mm,
maybe well, maybe it depends on how much you know them. What have you done?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it does depend on what you've done because I feel like also as VTubers, a lot of us understand that
Hmm.
people get canceled for
Very
um
fickle reasons.
so I feel like yeah, I feel like it really depends what you got canceled for. If it was a genuine reason to cancel someone, then you'd probably get pushed out. But I feel like if it's something stupid, that's not gonna happen.
Mm. What if here's another example? What if someone else in the house gets cancelled and now people tell you, "Hey, you live with them. Well, what's up with that?"
I mean, again, it depends on the reason. Because I'm also very much a person like I will share my opinions. I don't care. So if I think someone got canceled for a stupid reason, I'm gonna stand up for that person if it's a friend of mine.
So if you got cancelled for a serious reason, would you stay in that house? Would you move out? Would you tell
If
them to move
someone
out?
like if someone get canceled for like a reason he should have been canceled for, like some fucked. If it's something like that, I probably would be like, "Yep, you gotta go, you gotta leave."
Man, it's such a messy situation. It's actually living like a family, but a family of celebrities.
I mean, 'cause I feel like most people who get canceled for really dumb reasons.
Yeah,
most of the
but you
time
don't
that's
want
pretty
that.
much what it is.
Yeah, you don't want that in general. Like um, if someone you it happened to me a few times that someone I follow get cancelled suddenly, or gets into drama, and I don't know how to react to that. Do I write something? Do I ignore that?
My go-to is usually ignore.
Yeah, but it's like someone that you follow, maybe someone that you collab with. How can I ignore it? It's not fair to them. They like I need to put a stand. I need to help them. I need to defend them. Maybe I need to. If I can't defend them, why do I follow them? Maybe I need to unfollow them. That's a strange situation.
You see, and there was another point in chat of like, what if you someone who lives in the house gets a partner and they've been with them for a bit and they want to move in with them? Do you let them move into that house or do they need to move out to be able to live with their partner?
That's
Mm.
the Yoko Ono situation, from the Beatles.
You see, now that's another like rough situation. What do you do then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you also another thing you have to think about is what if that person's partner isn't also a content creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if they just want their privacy? They don't want to live in that content creator house. They just want to live with that person. They have just like the normal job. They just want to have their privacy and their partner, not every other content creator in that house.
I guess that's something for the couple to consider. But then it's weird because content creators are usually prone to more crazy things.
Mhm,
And if you have a house with those kind of people, then the entire house is prone to more crazy things.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's why like if I were to live, especially if it was outside of Israel, right? If I were to live in a content creation house like in the US, I would not be comfortable if someone else who also lives in that house is more open about where he like the state he lives in, for example. I would not
Oh,
be
like
comfortable with it.
doxing, for example.
Because what if you like now with me being in Israel and being a small content creator, I don't really care if people know that I'm in Israel, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But if I were a bigger streamer and I lived in a content creator house that was like in the US, I wouldn't want people to know what state I'm from, and I wouldn't be okay with it if someone else was open with what state he's from. Because when there is so many content creators in one house, it could really create problems.
like swatting and such. I would believe that if you live in a content creator house in America, there is going to be an agreement of you don't reveal the address, you don't do this. There's a system, but there is a big risk that someone might reveal their address or I don't know,
Yeah,
get
I think that's also one of the.
if one
I
get
mean,
doxxed, all of you get doxxed.
yeah, I feel like
Exactly.
that it's one of the cons of a streamer house, but I think it is, in a way, it's one of the pros of a VTuber house. As if none of the VTubers ever do a face reveal, right? If no one really knows what you look like and you live in a VTuber house and no one shares the state you're from or anything like that, then no one really has a way to know where you're from. They don't even know what you look like to be able to recognize you when you walk out in the street.
Regardless the outcome, it sounds like a a really cool idea that I want to try one day.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
feel that, and I feel like if I were big enough, maybe I would give it a shot, but I really don't think it would be for me, just because I really do like my privacy. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's not even just a content creator thing, just the more people you live with, the less privacy you have.
Yeah, naturally. But then you pay less rent as well.
True.
Because, yeah,
Any
there is
content
a.
creators, any VTubers in Israel?
Just start making a streamer house.
It's time to do a streamer house.
All right, who else do you know in Israel?
I know Aki and Ravi, but they're very private, for example. I know
Mm,
Meru. I can talk to Meru. And there's the idol girls. Um, there's not many. There's a very few
It
people.
would be so weird to live in a streamer house where everyone speaks Hebrew.
They'd be doxxed. That would
That'd be
they'd
be
be
so
docked so
weird.
quickly.
yeah, but that would be so cool. You can do Hebrew streams.
It would feel so strange to live in a streamer in a VTuber house where
Yeah,
everyone speaks Hebrew.
I wanna say that as someone who lives in Israel, it's very hard to explain how chill this country is. Um, I'm not afraid of doxing myself. I'm not afraid of revealing my address, my everything, because swatting and stuff like that, it just
It's
doesn't
really
exist.
not a thing here.
It's not a thing. If
Yeah,
you
it's
call
just
the
not a
police
thing
and
here.
tell them to swat someone, it's just gonna laugh at you. They're not. They're not gonna. It doesn't exist here. And I live in such a small town, nobody even heard of. So it's like it's the complete opposite. But then again, if you go to America, you have to switch the mentality
Yeah,
because
the
there it's
mindset.
Mm-hmm.
really
It's
yeah the
Because
mindset.
very different.
I feel
Mhm.
like one of the reasons I can be so relaxed with people knowing that I live in Israel or even what city I live in Israel is the fact that Israel is very small.
Mhm.
And so the chances of someone actually going out to my city to find me is extremely small.
And even if
Because
they do, what will they do?
yeah, what you gonna do? You can't swap me. It's Israel. It doesn't work here.
Yeah. I mean, the chance of someone that's kind of obviously there's been people who got hurt. Uh, Rarely, but it happens by streamers. By not streamers who got
By
hurt
swatting, yeah.
by
Mm-hmm.
not just fighting. It's just there was a girl who got stabbed
Hmm.
in, in America, in Japan. Sorry, it can happen. Right? You can get attacked. But I think, like in Israel, at least, that's the equivalent of getting run over by a car in the street. It's so random.
Yeah,
But that's
it's the
the
same chance.
oh, the equivalent is bad.
There was something else. Oh yeah, yeah. I know of, or I knew of a VTuber in Israel, a really small one, who did not want to reveal that they are from Israel, because they were afraid of anti-Semitic backlash. And I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Oh, I argued with people about that before. Huh?
I rarely encounter anti-Semitism online. Thankfully, it exists. There was a stream I collab with someone, and chatter said "fuck Jews." Thankfully, the streamer immediately told them never say that again, or you're gonna get blocked forever. And they
Oh,
just
I mean, I've had that issue before, and there was also I don't remember exactly when it was, but there was a little bit where it was for some reason like a trend to hate on Jews and hate on Israel for a bit.
yeah, it's always there. It really depends on who do you surround yourself with people
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
who are like that. I know of some Jewish content creators who constantly advocate in favor of Judaism in the way that they quote retweet anti-Semitic messages and send people to hunt those tweeters down. But then you also kind of asking to
Yeah, I don't agree with that either, because you're just, well, for
you're
one, you
asking for
are
that.
putting yourself, yeah, you're asking for it.
Yeah. So I know that content creator, the first one I was talking about, who I talked Hebrew on their stream, and they're like, please don't do that. They send me a private message. Please don't do that. I don't want people to know where I'm from.
That's so
Um,
interesting.
Kanma made
See,
me
I
feel lonely. Made me feel really lonely. Because it's
see,
not
I
that they
was
were really
honestly
small.
thinking of doing like a Hebrew only collab just because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I have Speak Hebrew Redeem in my Twitch.
I
Sh-
had a redeem for it, but it just feels so weird to speak Hebrew when no one can
it has.
understand it.
It feels really weird. But then you have some people who say the funniest thing. Like some people say, "Oh no, he's summoning demons,"
Oh
or
yeah.
Oh, I remember
or
that.
there's some people that actually find my accent, my Hebrew, sexy, which I
Oh yeah,
love.
What?
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, what is that sexy accent?
I
I don't know
had
why.
I remember I had the last time I spoke Hebrew on stream when someone redeemed it, I was streaming Overwatch with Jay. And so when someone redeemed switch to like to speak Hebrew for 5 minutes, it was very easy because I had someone to speak Hebrew with. Both of us just
Mm-hmm.
switched to Hebrew.
I heard about that incident.
Yeah, both
I
of
heard
us
it did
just
not,
switched to Hebrew.
but I also
Hmm?
heard he was speaking Hebrew English.
Wait, he was speaking Hebrewish.
Yeah.
See, it's also very interesting because I also have a redeem is like speaking Vietnamese for 5 minutes. But like you guys said, like it's hard when there's not another person there who understands you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
because if I
five
speak
minutes.
English, at least I
5 minutes.
know it's excruciating pain, even though it's my first language. Just
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I can't really read chat. They don't know what I'm gonna answer. They don't know what I'm telling them. Like,
Yeah.
So naturally, my chat loves to use the speak Japanese or speak Hebrew redeems when I play Keep Talking Nobody Explodes in a collab.
Mm-hmm.
oh no.
And
Yes.
last week I
Everybody
did,
keep talking and everybody explodes.
yeah. And last week I collabed with Lyra, who's German, and we did
Mhm.
Keep Talking. And she has a speak German redeem. So she was giving me instructions, and suddenly someone redeemed the speak German. And I told her, "Hey, do it, keep going." And they redeemed speak Hebrew on my case, so we spoke. We tried to speak Yiddish basically, and And I understood. I actually understood everything she said. She
Oh,
said
nice.
blau. I understood it's blue. She said gelb as gelb, gold, yellow. So I understood it's yellow. It's like the European languages are kind of, it's in your bones, you know, it's in the DNA. It was really fun. It was so funny that I understood it.
And now
That's
try to tell
so.
that to her in Hebrew. It's like a blue. Kahol.
Kahol!
Oh my
Tov!
gosh, I would not be able to.
So I streamed with Miu, and she's Indian, and she speak Hindi, and she has no idea what Hebrew is. She has a speak Hindu for 2 minutes or something. So they redeemed speak Hebrew for me, and I was supposed to count numbers, and I wanted to tell her arba, four, arba, and I was like אחד, שתיים, שלוש, arba, trying to count with her. And in a way, she understood. That was the fourth word, so that's number four.
It's so hard to try and do that, especially because Hebrew isn't really similar to any other language.
We're so, it's so different. And you have the chet, the
Yeah.
It's very much in the back of your throat.
Mm-hmm. Ha ha ha.
It's always funny though. I like it's a little bit dark, but the best joke that I've heard when I switched to Hebrew was from a really close friend of mine that I streamed with, and someone redeemed it, and I started speaking Hebrew, and they're like, "Ooh, he's trying to summon his mom back," and I died. I was laughing my ass off.
Wow.
Mimic, that's like yours where people think you're trying to summon the demon.
That's someone the demon, yeah. Um,
Yes,
something.
he's like, "Hey, your mom's not gonna come back if you switch languages. Stop."
That was an Israeli who said that?
No,
Oh
it
no.
was an American friend. I was laughing my
My
ass off.
rarely I get Israeli viewers. Some of them young, and the younger, like high school Israeli viewers, are the worst in
Oh
the
my
in the
god,
funniest
yeah.
way. Because listen, I say that all the time. We tell Holocaust jokes in first grade.
Always.
That's we're the darkest. I recently has this joke in YouTube High. We're gonna build the next season, and there's this cursed theme park.
Mhm.
There's all kind of cursed. There's like a mirror, a narcissistic mirror maze where you see yourself in all the mirrors. It's really cursed stuff. There's this gaslight chamber.
Oh my gosh.
And I told this to Alechi, I'm gonna take it on me. I'm Jewish, family of Holocaust survivors. I'm gonna take it on me. How do you
Yeah.
how do you kill a Jewish VTuber? You put him in a gaslight chamber.
See,
Oh
I have
my gosh.
I recently met a German friend, and every time I hop in VC with him, I'm like, the irony, a Jew and a German, huh?
So I never speak about that with German people.
I
But
always
every once in a while you get this really cursed black dark joke.
Mhm.
Um, and you're like, oh no, what do I do now? It's on stream.
I know I say it on stream, and people are like, "Bro, you're fucked," and I'm like, "Shush, this is normal in Israel."
Yeah, for next, this is normal in Israel, and
It
I'm
really
thinking to
is
myself,
though. Like I haven't met a single person who doesn't make Holocaust jokes in Israel.
yeah, and I had this fifth grader coming to my stream and telling me Holocaust jokes, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Do I block them? Do I what? Because my channel is mature. Um,
I would
and
laugh.
that's so crazy. That's so crazy. And I was like, don't say those jokes on the internet, please, because you know, it's not suited for the internet. And they ask why,
Yeah,
and I said in Hebrew because some people are more sensitive.
yeah. It's funny how it's more of a sensitive topic outside of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
but I feel like that's also kind of like the culture in Israel, where like everything that hurts we laugh about.
yeah, there's this actual real story about many Jews who survived the Holocaust with Holocaust jokes. Basically, the humor is
Mhm.
what saved them, saved their sanity. And that's also my. I grew up watching Spider Man and reading the Spider Man comics. And Spider Man always quips his enemies during battle. And there's also this kind of rumor that Spider-Man is Jewish because Stan Lee was Jewish. And, there's this natural thing about just joke about it, make a joke,
Well, yeah,
make a pun about it.
it's kind of how I grew up too, kind of like how I
Mm-hmm.
was raised, and it's what I do with everything that kind of hurts in life is I laugh about it because it makes it easier.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but then
I'd
you
rather laugh about it than cry about it,
exactly. But then you go to the internet and oh boy,
and people get offended.
yeah.
So easily, so quickly.
And then I had an Asian girlfriend, um, and we used to well she used to laugh about Asians all the time with like the darkest Asian jokes, and I understand because I do that with Jews, but it
Yeah,
felt so weird. It
Yeah.
just felt so weird because I feel like wait, can I laugh? Can I like the gas chamber joke? You saw that Broken laughed, but Nix probably felt can I laugh about this? Can I know? Am I allowed to? and and it's understandable, right?
It's a
yeah, I kind
Kiara.
of I get that a lot, especially when I make jokes about my mom, because people are like, "Ooh, can I laugh?" But then if I find someone else who also has a dead parent, they laugh their ass off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you don't know
Uh,
where the boundary is.
I mean,
you're
for
not a
me,
part of the joke, so you're
yeah,
like,
you see, for me,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to stuff like that, my boundary is like, okay, if I made the joke, you can laugh at it. I didn't make the joke, and then I'm not gonna make a joke
yeah.
that I'm gonna be offended if you laugh at.
Okay, I want to give a weird example. One day, I was kind of pissed off. I should not have streamed that day, but it was a bad day, and someone got in
Mhm,
my chat and told me a Holocaust joke. Um, the thing it was a new user. I don't know who that is.
mhm.
I had a Jewish tag on my stream, so it could either be someone Jewish. Most likely, it's been like a Jewish kid or a teenager
Mhm.
who, that's what they do. But it could also be someone anti-Semitic who's trying to laugh at me,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt very uncomfortable because I didn't
that's
know if they're having fun or if they're trying to mock
yeah,
me.
that's kind of the issue when you don't know the person, right? Because if I know someone's Jew and they're making that joke, it's completely normal to me.
Hmm.
Um, because I just kind of know how it is. It's kind of what we do.
Yeah,
Um,
it's completely different, but it's like black people use the N word. Someone else uses that. That's gonna be like, no, no, you don't use that.
well, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's just one of those things of like, I don't know if you're doing it to mock me or like if it's someone I don't know, it's like, okay, are you making that joke because you're a dick or are you making that joke because you're Jewish?
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard
What's
to
with chat talking
tell.
about virgins?
I don't know what's going on in chat.
Coco, we talked about this. You have time. It's fine. It's fine, Coco. You know what? I've been a virgin until I was 35.
I am not gonna share when I lost my virginity.
Well,
Don't
it's
learn from
okay.
me.
I mean, you can take your time. It's okay. Although I'm not
Oh
a
no,
great
my
example
community
because
knows.
oh, I'm not a great example because I'm like a 12-year-old brain. Um, but it's something you don't have to. Maybe you don't have to. I'm 37. Maybe you don't have to worry about it too much. About either that or the dark jokes. Just chill with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say that
Yeah,
maybe telling those kind of jokes, like the gaslight chamber joke, is putting other people in an uncomfortable position. Like it put Nix in an uncomfortable position. So maybe it would be better to, on the internet, to be
yeah, I
considerate and
feel like
think
it when I
what other
make
people
those
think
jokes,
about
it
it. Yeah.
really yeah, it really depends what group of people I'm with, right? Because if it's a group of like really close friends that I know are okay with it, then I'm gonna be a lot more open to making
Yeah.
those types of jokes. But I also know that even though people in my stream will probably not get offended by it, they might still be uncomfortable to laugh at it.
Yeah. Or just uncomfortable in general. They may think, oh, these are a bunch of rude people. But it really depends if it's a good taste or bad taste.
Yeah,
I remember the
especially if
first
it's
time I did. It was Hanukkah. It was Hanukkah. I did a Jackbox Israeli? Jewish. We did a Jewish tuber collab, a YouTuber. So we gathered
Hmm.
a bunch of YouTubers, and some people that were very famous in the VTuber community, and I didn't know they're Jewish. So it
Hmm.
was really, really cool to have some people there. And then we played Jackbox, and we did some Jewish jokes, and there was this. Um, oh damn! I forgot. It was hilarious. Someone uh, I wrote something about the oh my god, something about the satellite, the laser satellite laser that we have, lizard
Hmm.
people satellite laser, and the Jewish the hidden laser satellite that Jews hide in space, and someone asked why do we hide satellite laser, and I said so we can control the media, like out of nowhere, and they all burst out laughing so much. But then I
I feel
know
like
of many, many Jews that if any non Jew would say any of those things, that would be so offensive.
I feel like it's kind of like meeting a Jewish person outside of Israel, right? Suddenly you both speak Hebrew and he's like your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Because
like
you
the
guys,
few minutes you talk to him, he's your best friend.
because you guys probably don't meet a lot of like Hebrew-speaking people outside of Israel, right?
Not at all.
That depends. The countries I've been to, you meet them nonstop. if you go to
Where have you been?
if you go to any country in Europe, or if you go, well, not any country, but if you go to the main countries like France, Germany, and such, if you go to America, United States, or if you go uh, to Singapore or Thailand or India or the Philippines, like the main tourist attraction places, you will hear Hebrew all over the place. You,
Really?
yes, there's this kind of, it's hilarious. It's like all the Hebrew speaking, and it's Israelis as well. They go and tour the same countries together, and you can hear the language because it's so unique. And there's some countries like Thailand or India where the vendors, they already learn some words in Hebrew, and they tell you in Hebrew, hey, come here, good prices, good prices.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's no different from like Vietnamese because like depending on like where you are, uh state-wise too, like some states are just overwhelmed by the Vietnamese community and no matter where you
Mhm.
go, you always hear someone speaking Vietnamese. Whereas like some other states like it's so rare to hear someone speaking Vietnamese and you have to travel like 3 or 4 hours just to even get to like an Asian store. And so
Yeah.
it's so interesting like the experience you and Broken have
Mm.
had, like Mimic, you can go somewhere and you can hear someone speaking Hebrew where Broken goes and he doesn't hear anyone.
I
I
think we'll be
think
talking about
like
this for like one more hour now.
I think I found like one person in Germany that spoke Hebrew when I was in Germany, and that's about it.
Mm. You want to see how I gaslight chat?
Oh yeah, go on.
Oh, okay.
So you're asking what's the T in LGBT? It actually means tattoos. Tattoos. Yeah, tattooed. So
Ah
tattooed
yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't have tests, you're not really a part of the LGBT community.
Yeah. Yeah. Must have tattoos. So that's L stands for left. G stands for gnomes. B stands for barbarian.
Butthole.
Buttholes. You must have a butthole. Joking aside, Google it.
Left gnome butthole tattoos. That's what it means.
Tattoos. What's the Q then?
Uh,
Quidditch.
uh,
Quidditch.
yeah.
Quidditch.
People say Quidditch.
Quidditch.
People play Quidditch. Like the worst thing ever because the LGBTQ community is the opposite of J.K. Rowling.
Oh my gosh.
We just canceled this entire podcast. I'm sorry, everyone.
I'm gay. I'm allowed to laugh.
My channel.
I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm allowed to laugh at J.K. Rowling. I
Oh
had
my
an argument.
gosh.
I had an argument about the Harry Potter game with someone, and they came from the LGBTQ. Well, not argument, right? We're just talking about it, and they came from the LGBTQ, from the trans community, and I came from the Jewish community. It was kind of funny how we could find shared grounds because the game kind of butchered both of us. So I
Well,
was
you
like,
see, I personally played the game.
Mm.
So I just didn't really care.
I don't
The
care, but I
game
feel
was
like
just fun.
I'm allowed to talk about the game,
Yeah,
even though I
fair
didn't
enough.
play it, because you know that they have this a shofar in the game.
Really?
Yeah. So here's a funny thing to everyone. A shofar literally means horn. It's an ancient biblical horn. So in the game, there's a goblin horn that used to be used in ancient times, and they called it shofar. They didn't
Oh,
call it
let's go.
horn.
We're goblins.
They literally call it shofar, and that obviously that comes in contact with this rumor that I didn't hear until I became a VTuber, that there is an association with Jews and goblins. Because long nose, small, hoarding money, and such.
I didn't know
And
about that though.
I
I laugh
didn't
at
know.
it all the
Oh, you
time.
did? I never knew that before being a VTuber.
Oh yeah, I was talking to someone yesterday.
Mm.
um and I'm very open with like showing what I look like and stuff like that. I don't really care. And so we were talking about what I look like, and I'm like, yeah, I got that big Jewish nose so I can smell all the shekels.
It smells like a blue yeti.
A blue
It
yeti.
smells like shekels in here. Where are they?
And I smell the foam of my blue yeti, and that's Oliver smells. Blue yeti. So you wanna move on to the next topic before we
Let's
Before
move
we
on
get
to the next
canceled.
topic.
make Nick's cancelled here.
This is how to get canceled 101 podcast is
Yeah.
what we're doing here.
But
Okay.
here's something. Last thing about this. When I say anything Jewish jokes and such, I feel the urge to constantly mention that I'm Jewish
Yeah, because
because
I don't want people to think that I'm like anti-Semitic or anything like that. It's
yeah.
like no, I am Jewish. I live in Israel, but
So here's the thing, and that comes to jealousy, to the next topic, which is what makes you jealous. Um, I it's known right now. I was in a VTuber group, kind of small group, and there was an argument between two people in the group, and there was some collateral damage. Some people got kicked out. I was one of the people who got kicked out, and then there was a lot of rumors in the group of why did they kick me out. And nobody really knew why, and there's still rumors. There's still like all kind of theories of why. Nobody can really understand why. One theory was that because I'm anti-Semitic. So it's like
interesting.
one person told another person that they heard from another person that Mimic is anti-Semitic. And then I told that person, you know, I'm Jewish. And they said, what? You're Jewish? I'm like, yes. And I said all the time, you go to my Twitter, it says I'm from Israel. I have like in Hebrew accent. And like, oh, well, you should tell that person. A month later, a few months later, I completely forgot about it. I happened to talk with that person who so and so claimed that I'm anti-Semitic. Um, and I was like, by the way, you know, I heard this rumor that someone said that you said that I'm anti-Semitic. And they said, no, I will never say that. What the hell? I would never say that. And I said, oh, because I just want to tell you I'm Jewish. So it was kind of funny to me. And he was staring at me. And he was saying, wait, you're Jewish? I didn't even know you're Jewish. And I felt so awkward. So yeah, it's just you know, you can't escape that ethnicity and language and religion and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to me
Mm-hmm.
because I talk to a lot of people, right? And usually, if I'm like talking to people I met through Twitch, I speak in English.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, if I don't tell them, they don't know that English is not my first language.
Yeah, people will ask me sometimes, what is that language or what's that accent or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I tell people I'm Jewish or Israeli, nobody really cares. I
Yeah,
haven't met a single person who really cares.
I've met a lot of people who think I genuinely live in the US before I tell them anything else. Like they
Mm.
think English is my first language and I live in the US.
You know what's so funny? People don't think I'm in the US.
You thought I was in the US until I told you I'm not.
That's true. That's true. But that's also because you don't have normal sleeping schedule.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, I
now
stream in
that
Europe
sounds like a
time,
you
so
problem.
that's a USA problem. A assuming people's location by their streaming schedule. Can't believe this,
And
Nix.
to be fair, I do stream at like 3 a.m. usually.
That's how they get the viewers.
I know. That's why I was just like, and then like I stream at like odd hours too, and then no one thinks like I'm in the U.S. It's like no, I just stream at 6 in the morning and like 10 p.m.
Yeah, and so how would you think that I'm from the US if you also stream at weird ass fucking hours?
Right, let's move on. The
Let's
next
move
topic
on. What makes
is
you
jealousy.
jealous?
Yeah.
So this is actually a really interesting one because like I feel like as we're all growing streamers, everyone becomes jealous from something, someone, or something in general. And so do you guys get jealous of other streamers you know? Do you get jealous of when you collab with other people, the other person gets subs, bits, or their follower number is just up there? Or do you get jealous from like other people who surpass you from your follower number, from your viewer number, something on the lines of that?
I mean, I think it can be hard to not get jealous, but I do try to remind myself that every streamer has his strong points and his weak points. Um, so whenever I see a friend who's doing better than me, I just kind of try to see what they're doing better than me and where I can improve.
Hmm.
Mm.
I get jealous at boobs.
What?
I feel like a lot of my Twitter friends are doing an amazing job growing because they have boobs.
Oh yeah, 100% the booba trend on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't have boobs.
Oh, that took me a
If you
second to
can-
figure out what you're talking about. I'm just like,
If
wait,
you
what?
can jiggle your 2D or 3D model titties,
Yeah.
you're growing so much faster.
Yeah, and I can't. I can't. Joking aside, I am very jealous with a lot with females, with girls. Um, and I know that there's many girls who would tell me, believe me, there's no reason to get jealous. And again, if you look at the top creators in the world, it's really unfair gender-wise. The top creators, top content creators are men, white, cisgendered, straight men. Well, I don't know if all of them straight, but I think so. If you go to PewDiePie and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and so on, it's white men most likely, roughly. I don't know their ethnicity and so on. But in the VTubing area, it feels like, well, it doesn't feel like the top creators are girls.
Yeah.
Sexy girls, cute girls, girls who get a lot of lewd content, lewd fan art. If you go Vishojo, Niji Sanji, or Hololive, it makes you jealous because I see some people who started the same numbers as me, but many people go to their content because they're girls. I used to collab with a lot of girls. I used to collab with like 15 people a week, many of them cute girls who look adorable and so on. And I saw more than once that someone who's used to be my viewer went to be their viewer. Some would even sub to the girl I collab with during our collab. They don't even know her. They just instantly go to her and sub to her. And of course, jealousy is not healthy, and it's not something that you can really compare. It's the grass is greener. It's everyone is doing their own journey. But it's jealousy. It's just there. And contrary to what Broken said, I can't learn from that because I will never be a girl. I can't.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some people might
it's
say, yeah, go be a trans. I don't want to. I don't want to. It's not me. I
I
want to
mean,
be a guy.
I think part of the reason that it's kind of easier for me is because I am also mainly in the LGBT side of the VTuber community, right?
Yeah.
And there is kind of still that same thing, but most of the content creators, most of the VTubers I know are guys, and most of the people I collab with are guys. Now, the people I see in the LGBT side of the VTuber community that do well are just guys with big boobs. Like, if you have a model with big titties, like, go ahead. It doesn't matter, guy, girl, whatever. And so it is just kind of like a thing. My OC is buff anyway. I could jiggle my titties when I have a 2D model.
So at the end of the day, it might be just me surrounding myself by very successful females who grow very, very fast, and therefore I'm kind of surrounding myself by this jealousy-inducing environment.
Well, I think there is more to growth than being a female or being in the area that I'm in,
Yeah.
like a guy with big boobs, like there is
Mm-hmm.
more to it. And I kind of try to look past that and see how they interact with their chat, what they're doing better than I'm doing.
Hmm. I think I'll kind of blame myself at this point. I think you're right. You're very, very much right. I think that it's very easy to look at something like gender and say, oh, they're better VTubers because they're girls because they have boobies. But in reality, they may have been doing something else better than what I've been doing. Maybe they are more focused on their content. Maybe they treat their community differently. Maybe they build a community in a different way. Maybe it's just the easy route to put
Yeah.
the blame on
I
something like
mean,
that.
it's I wouldn't necessarily call it the easy route because it definitely is part of it. There's also the fact, at least in the community that I'm in, that you see a lot that either guys with really deep voices or
Mm-hmm.
guys who have really soft and cute voices generally do better. And I kind of fit into none of those,
Yeah,
right?
I see what you mean.
And so that I don't have any of those. My voice is kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I just can't change. It is what it is. So I just need to look at the other things, right? I need to look at the other stuff about their streams that make people watch because it's not just their voice.
Do what you can do.
Yeah.
When it comes to VTubing, gender is pretty fluid though.
I
Hey,
Spazzy.
Spastic, it is
That
fluid,
is
yeah,
that is
but
very fluid because there's a lot of people who they'll be male or female and they'll have the opposite gender of their model. And
Yeah.
that's no different than what I'm doing at my 600 goal is I'm making a male model. Like,
Mm.
there's no difference there. It's like you can choose who you want to be. It doesn't matter
Well,
if
yeah,
you're
because
male or
I'm
female.
gonna have a gender bent model as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have
No,
a gender bent PNG in the works.
yeah, and so I think even like at the end of the day, like your model is one thing, but I think your personality and who you are also makes a difference too. Like your voice definitely does have an impact as well, but how you present yourself also plays a factor. Like
Yeah, for sure.
some people might not enjoy YouTubers and some people might not want to like watch say so streamers. Like
I mean,
you
speaking of someone with a really cute voice, hi Spastic.
Yeah, people just kind of go for like model is one thing, and I definitely agree with both of you. Like if someone has like a really attractive model in every aspect, then people are definitely gonna watch them more than someone else because they're first there for the model, then they're there for the personality. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not often people will come for the personality first and then everything afterwards.
Yeah. Coco saying something. Mage is me. He's talking. He's calling me Mage. Um, that he watches me because my community is not toxic, and that's one thing I'm really trying to do my best at. Staying away
Hmm.
from venting and trauma dumping and swearing at each other and so on. My streams are very wholesome usually. They're wholesome, chaotic. I don't swear, I don't curse, I don't flame people, but I do see other very toxic communities that when I think about it, they grow very, very fast.
I will take blame.
So I'm thinking to myself, maybe wholesome has a cost. And the cost that maybe wholesome is boring.
I mean, it just depends what the people who watch you are looking for, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like me and you have very different brandings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of my branding at the end of the day comes from sexualizing my OC. It's kind of what I do. It is part of my brand.
Mm.
But that's not for everyone. Not everyone is comfortable with sexualizing themselves and sexualizing their OC. Personally, I enjoy doing it.
Maybe because I'm family friendly. I'm not really family friendly, but I'm not also completely comfortable with sexualizing my character yet. It might
Mm-hmm.
happen one day. Who knows?
The you mentioned that, and it's just kind of like, you know, the body pillow that you made before, Mimic.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that on my Twitter, and one of the few replies I got was body pillow merch. And I was talking to some other people about it, and they told me, I didn't even like realize this. I didn't even realize this because that's just how dense I was. Is they said to me, you do realize that if you make a body pillow merch, they'd be sleeping with your model. Essentially, think they'd be sleeping with you. And I'm just kind of, I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. And I
That's
think Mimic,
originally what a
See,
body
and
pillow
like I
is.
said, that's not for everyone. Even though I might be extremely comfortable with it.
yeah, and like that came to my thought, and I'm just like, you know what? Nope, we're not, nope,
Nope, not that much.
I mean,
no.
shit, if I grow enough in the future, I will literally just make dildos from a mold of my penis. Like, I don't care.
Oh, imagine.
I would do it. Like, I genuinely would. I don't care.
Oh my god, I talked about this with I think Alichi. I'm not sure.
What?
Talking about the weirdest merch that you can do.
There you
And
go.
talking about dildos with your brand molded after your real life.
I would
Oh my
literally
god.
make dildos from a mold of my penis. I do not care.
Israelis think the same.
It's just that, you know, our minds are connected. We share our one brain cell.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if more Israeli VTubers will think the same.
More every Israeli VTuber grows penis mold.
And Israeli VTuber house is gonna be very dangerous for the
Oh, yeah.
VTuber community.
Everybody is walking around naked.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
my
god.
gosh. Oh. I know a streamer that has body pillows of other streamers like Mimic does. You don't
That's
want
why the body pillows I made. That's why I sent the PNG file only to the streamers themselves and not. I didn't do like a drive with all of them
Yeah.
because it's like it's your PNG. You send it to whoever you want. I don't want everyone to get it.
Yeah, and especially I'm gonna put this out here. Mimic said I want Nyx with feet, so I gave him what he wanted. So I
Hey, I would
currently
like
have a
to-
model. I currently have a model that does not have shoes on.
Thank me later, everyone.
Hey,
But you
no
guys
one
will
would buy
never see
Asian
that.
ones. I disagree. If Spazzy has a dildo with the mold of his penis, I would buy it.
Oh my gosh. What's wrong with Nyx? I am perfectly fine.
Nix is completely blushing right now.
I
This is like every collab me and Nyx has. It always gets there.
Oh wait, then you're used to it, Nix?
It gets there every time. It really does.
Mm.
I told you this is the dynamic me and Nyx have. She's extremely say so, and then I talk about shit like this.
We're stretching Nix's capabilities on the internet.
Damn, I want someone to stretch me like that.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, let's continue. I am Coco.
He's broken. Broken by broken.
No, I am broken.
He's broken. Nix is Nix. She's the elf.
Mhm.
Okay. We were on what makes you jealous, but I think we got past that one.
Yeah.
So let's go to reaching out to big and streamers. Is that
Hmm.
do you guys reach out to big and small streamers. But
I
first,
literally reach out to everyone.
what do you guys consider a big or small streamer?
Mm, someone who's twice my size, let's say, that's really confusing because the Twitter numbers and the Twitch numbers are so different. There's some people who
Mm.
are bigger than me on Twitter but smaller than me on Twitch, and vice versa, and it really means nothing. But usually you reach out to people on Twitter, right? You don't reach out to people on Twitch. It's like strange. What, you send a
Yeah.
whisper to someone on Twitch? You just don't do that. You, I don't know. You go to someone's community, then you reach out to them in Discord. Also, I mean, ideally, right? You want to mix in someone's community, talk in their chat, get to know them like that, get in their Discord, and then one day join in one of their collabs. Maybe they do a community collab, and then you start to get to know them, and then you can get them more personally, and then you can collab with them, right? That's too damn long. I can't. I'm not patient enough to do that. So I'm just sending a DM on Twitter. Many times people would say no. Many times people would ghost you and not answer. Rarely someone would say, "Yeah, let's do it." And then in some cases that people would say, um, yes, but when time comes, they actually don't not gonna actually collab with you because of all kind of reasons. When you are smaller or bigger than someone, it is considerably harder to collab with them rather than if you're roughly the same size.
Yeah. I personally, I reach out to a lot of people. Just because I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting new people. Um, so I usually, when I reach out to people, I don't really reach out to people for collabs. I generally just reach out to people to talk to them. And if we end up collabing at some point, great. I have a lot of friends that I met just through randomly reaching out to them on Twitter that I've never collabed with, but I talk to them nearly every day. Uh, some bigger than me, some smaller than me. There was like, I'm not gonna say like names, but there was like a partnered streamer that followed me on Twitter, and I reached and like I talked to him, and I was just playing with him like earlier today.
Ooh.
I just don't stream it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because one, I don't want him to think that I'm using him for his viewership,
Yeah.
and two, we just don't have the same type of content. So when I do play with him, I'd rather play with him off stream.
Oh, I see. I do feel that when I collab with someone who's different size, it's sometimes you don't share the same content. For example, there was someone that's used to be smaller than me. Now they are a bit bigger than me, and they recently rated me with like 40 viewers, and I was very happy. Hey, Ray, thank you so much. And you instantly see how all of the viewers leave, and nobody follows you. And the reason is that our content is completely different. They were doing more just chatting, and I'm doing a game, and that's completely different.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I try to look into before I collab with people. It's like, it's not really about the viewership number. It's like, do we kind of produce the same type of content? Can I just be the same way that I am on my stream when I'm on their stream, right?
I see.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if I need to change myself when I'm on their stream, I need to change my branding for their stream. And I'm not trying to do that. So even if someone is way bigger than me, I don't want to change my branding for their stream. And I don't want them to need to change their branding for mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I generally look at their content more than I look at the viewer numbers just to see if our vibes will match on stream.
That's so interesting because I feel like when I reach out to people, okay, so some of the people who I've collabed with already,
Mhm.
they have told me that they are shy to collab with me because of the difference in numbers. And I'm not saying like I'm a big streamer
People
or
that are
anything.
smaller than you.
People are smaller numbers than me. They are shy or very standoffish to stream with me, and I'm just like, there's no reason to be. I want to stream with you because you're fun, because it's going to be a fun game and I want to play with this game with you. But then
Mhm.
one of the collabs I had with them, they're just like, I had to prepare like a whole entire hour because I'm streaming with you. I'm just like, you didn't have to prepare that much. It's just gonna be a very casual stream.
Hmm.
And it's just the thought of like, if you were to stream with like a big, or like someone who has like double the numbers with you, are you gonna be preparing that much?
See,
Are you gonna be
I
like so
think
nervous?
yeah, I think part of the reason that I'm not very nervous to stream with people who are bigger than me, um, is because when I did stream Call of Duty and I played competitively, I had a much higher viewership number at the time because
So you kind
people
of
were
know how
interested.
it
Yeah,
feels.
because people were interested in watching the tournaments and watching like a semi-professional player play. And so I'm kind of used to having the higher viewership numbers. I guess that's why it doesn't affect me as much. Because I was there before, it just switched when I switched to VTubing. I changed my whole branding and I need to rebuild it.
Mm,
Hmm.
kind of like what Even says, like it's the added pressure of streaming with someone who is bigger in their eyes. So like you easily could be a bigger streamer in someone's eyes,
Yeah.
whereas you aren't actually in the eyes of like everyone else. You might not be a big streamer, but to the person who's like looking up to you, you might be considered a big streamer.
It is really stupid, but for some reason I feel more nervous collabing with smaller streamers. Um, because I have my own inside jokes and I can be chaotic and overwhelming, and they most likely didn't have many collabs. I approach many small streamers more than I approach big streamers, because big streamers usually ignore me or ghost me, or just say they don't want to stream right now because they don't need to look for collabs. But when I reach small streamers, I feel like sometimes I put them on the spot. You got a pro. You have 200 followers, and that guy with 9,000 followers just approached you. Obviously, you want to collab with them, but you never collab before. You don't know what to do. You don't want to embarrass yourself or make them hate you or whatever. And I've been. Some people told me all kind of weird stuff while before when they didn't appear for a collab. Someone told me that they were embarrassed. Someone told me that they were too nervous. Someone told me they didn't want me to hate them because they thought they were acting stupid. Um, Someone told me they thought it was a scam. There's no way someone big will approach them, and I'm not that big, right? I have average viewership of 10. That's not big. But for someone with average viewership of 0, that's huge.
Yeah,
So
Mm-hmm.
it's all comparison.
it's about perspective.
Yeah, it's about perspective, exactly. And I would love to reach out to more bigger streamers, but I feel like I don't know. I feel uncomfortable doing that.
I mean, see,
Um,
it's one of the reasons why when I reach out to people, I don't ask them about collabs. I just kind of talk to them, get to know the person. Maybe if I think we can vibe out, if I think it's gonna be fun, maybe play with them off stream sometime.
hmm,
Just, make a new friend. And if I actually get close to them and I like them and we like playing together, then maybe I'll ask them if they want to collab sometime. But I
yeah.
just want to get to know the person first, at least a little bit.
It's like the moment you say something that hints at a collab, they might think you're after their numbers and after their clout.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
just want to have fun together.
I know that's like for me, that's always a worry. Like because I normally reach out to people for collabs, and I'm always worried because like my numbers are small. If I reach out to someone who has like their numbers are a little bit more or like a lot more, I always feel, um, I always feel kind of like skittish on asking like, hey, do you want to chat a little bit and see if we want to do a collab? Because I always feel like they might be thinking I'm using them for like content or trying to use
Yeah.
them to get followers.
Well, I just recently like reached out to at least in the way I see it, right? Compared to my viewership, he's a bigger streamer.
Mm.
As he usually I'm pretty active in his streams and I talk to him in DMs and stuff. But we're not like super close, right? And he usually does hold like a 45-50 viewer average. But since we do talk a decent amount, I reached out to him for a collab, and I was like, I really hope he's not gonna think that I'm like using him for viewership. because I genuinely do just like the person,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we could have fun playing together. But I also know that he is extremely busy when he's off
Yeah,
stream, so you
exactly.
can't really play with him when he's off stream. He doesn't have time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Dream asked me in chat if I would collab with someone bigger than me if they invite me. And hell yeah, I would definitely do it. From first of all, yeah, from a work perspective, that's a smart thing to collab with someone bigger than you, but not necessarily because of the numbers. I want the experience, the learning from someone else bigger than me. It's like working in, I don't know, high tech, and you get the opportunity to work with a big shot,
Mhm.
even if no one is gonna watch that. You want that. I would love to do D&D with big streamers, like in the 50,000, 100,000 followers. I actually streamed with one 50,000 followers, but that ended up pretty bad. I had to nuke the VOD, unfortunately.
Ooh,
Oh.
Um, there were some misunderstanding between the sides, and they asked me to unpublish the VOD, and I unpublished it. And stuff like that can happen. That's kind of
yeah.
a shame. Um, and since then, I've been kind of skittish as well, approaching big streamers, because I feel like if it's a small streamer, I'm in control. I can do whatever I want, and it's gonna be okay. And if we need to unpublish the VOD, nothing happened. But if it's a big streamer than me, I feel like I will need to present myself in a good way. I
And
will need
that's
to. Maybe that's how small streamers feel when
yeah, I feel
when
you
I
though,
invite
because
them to a collab. Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things
Yeah.
where even if I'm collabing with a bigger streamer, I want to make sure that it is someone who kind of gets how I brand myself and how I work, because I'm not gonna change my branding to follow his rules.
Hmm.
I have my
Mm-hmm.
own branding, and if that branding doesn't work, then it doesn't matter how big he is. I would rather we not collab, because I don't want to grow off of a branding that's not mine, since I had to change it for his stream.
Yeah, and then you get
Yeah.
viewers who are basically not gonna stay there.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like I'll be honest, like I think I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, Mimic, but like the first time you messaged me, I really told myself there's no way this person wants to talk to me. There's no way this person wants to collab with me. Because I think when you first messaged me, I was only at maybe 150, not
Hmm.
even, and you were already past 1,000 followers, and I'm just like, there's no way.
I don't even remember why I messaged you, to be honest.
I don't. You started off with congratulations on your debut, but then you told me not too long ago you just said that you didn't care.
I remember it was a week where I got a lot of no's for my collab offers, and I thought, you know what? Just asking straight for a collab is not working. I should do some small talk. So I went to a few VTubers, um, and instead of asking for a collab directly, I said something like, "Congratulations on your this, congratulations on that," and then kind of let it go. And with Nix, it worked. Later, she reached out to
Yeah,
me,
I'll
and we
um
collab because of that.
yeah, I can say like personally, if it's like my first time ever talking to someone and they instantly reach out to me about a collab, my answer will most likely be no. Um, just because I want to genuinely get to know the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see if if me and them can actually create good content together, if it's gonna be fun to watch, if it's gonna be fun to play with that person. So if someone instantly reaches out to me about a collab, then I'm probably gonna say no. But if someone does kind of what I do and reaches out to me and just talks for a bit, maybe we play off stream, whenever they have time, then I would probably consider collabing with them, or I might even ask them to collab myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think Broken, you and I knew each other for maybe like a month before we even had our first collab.
Yeah,
And
we
like
knew
by
each
then
other
we
for a
had
little bit.
already, yeah, by then we had already like played games and everything.
Hmm.
And then Mimic, it was just the first day he started talking, the first message, 10 minutes later, first collab. I don't think that will
I
ever
get down
happen
to
again.
business. I'm like I can't. It feels unproductive to play off stream. I'm like, let's collab now. If we're gonna play, let's make sure everybody watches.
I feel
Uh,
you, but at the same time, I feel like I
it
like playing
doesn't.
off stream
Yeah,
because I like testing the waters.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I had this year of adventures and I got to collab with some good people and I got to collab with some bad people. I understand the value of getting to know the person before you collab, before you
Yeah,
put them
because
on your stage, basically.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's not anything bad, right? It might, if your vibes don't match, it could just be awkward.
Yeah, exactly. There were a few cases in the recent months where someone asked me for to play off stream. Usually I say no because it's weird when someone is just randomly, hey, they wanna hang out sometimes. Like I don't know who you are. Um, but there was a few times that I agreed and said, you know what, fine. And we played the game off stream, and in all of those times, it felt so awkward. I just didn't know what was
You
going on,
see,
what I'm
and that's
doing.
the thing. You do that, and then it's like, okay, you don't want that awkward feeling on your stream,
Yeah,
so you're not gonna collab with them.
exactly.
But then you
Mm-hmm.
do that, and you find someone that your vibes really match, and it's really fun to play with them, and it's funny, and then you know, okay, like I want this person on my stream for a collab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I feel like you have to really see. You also have to see if you're comfortable with that person too. Because I think Mimic, you really took the shot of like, with our first collabs, you went straight on like, okay, when are you free? I'm just like, I think I said like I'm free this whole week, and they're just like, what about now? And I'm just like, now? And you're just like, yeah, what are you free now? So what are you doing? He's like, nothing. He's like, let's collab now.
And
So
then I told Nix that she's cheating on me.
And that
so
same day.
here's the reason for that. I had many cases where I scheduled a collab for a week later, 2 week later, a month later,
And they don't show.
and they don't show up.
Hmm.
But if you do
Mm-hmm.
it now, there's no way you won't show up because it's now.
Yeah, see,
Um,
for me, it depends. I usually only schedule collabs with friends or friends of friends.
people
Because
that you
that
know
way I
already.
have a bit more of a guarantee that they're gonna show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because
I just
then
Or at
wanted.
with
least like
that,
let me know if we need to cancel because they can't make it.
Yep.
mm-hmm. Because like when you collab with like friends of friends, like, you kind of you hold a responsibility to
Oh, I
both the
didn't scratch.
collab person and the person you're friends with.
Hmm.
Because
Because
I
you
know
don't
I've
want to
had,
get your mutual kind of stuck in the middle of like, okay, this guy just like didn't show.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Thank you for the stretch and hydrate. Oh, my shoulder popped.
Yeah, let's
Nice.
go. Can
Every
hear that on
single
stream.
time.
Even. Can hear it on stream. Clip the pop.
I think it was less
Um.
audible this time.
So yeah, it's on one hand this kind of interview. I kind of look at it like an interview. This hangout off stream to test the water. It's a good thing, obviously. But then again, if you
Mm-hmm.
collab with a lot of people, it takes time. After stream, I need to study. I need to do so many things. Um, and uh, they need to schedule with that person as well. Just thinking about it makes me anxious. Um,
Yeah.
Usually, whenever it's with big groups, that's when I kind of force myself to just take the risk and play with them first time on stream because I just can't. If we're streaming with a big group, I just can't get through every single person and see when they're free to play off stream and like
mhm.
all that kind of stuff. I just can't. So that's when I usually take the leap to play with them on stream first time. But usually when I do that, I also have at least one friend in there that I already know so that at least I can talk to them if I don't vibe with the rest of the people.
I
Mm-hmm.
see. One thing that I feel really helps me is having something common.
Yeah,
Like you play the same game or you live in the same place or same ethnicity. It
yeah, like
really
an
helps.
icebreaker.
Yeah.
It definitely does help having that like icebreaker to at least start off the conversation before you let it roll into other topics.
Mm-hmm. I see we covered only like 3 or 4 topics today,
We
which is
really didn't talk to
yeah,
the
we're
first
talking
hour.
non-stop.
The first
You know,
hour was just face streaming
One,
and
yeah,
VTubing.
yeah, we can leave maybe the next topics to next time. or if you want to cover one of the last topics.
I
We
think
have
we
20
can
minutes.
let's move into quickly responsible streamers since we kind of touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like, are you a responsible streamer? Do you, the way that I phrase this is, do you stream like an adult or do you stream without a care in the world? Do you only care about yourself while you're streaming? Do you tell your collab partners you can't make it, or do you have to reschedule? Do you just not tell them anything? Do you ghost them? The same thing with like just your followers in your chat too. Do you tell them if you're gonna cancel your stream?
Mm.
See, so personally, I don't have a stream schedule. Um, so that's not really something I need to worry about too much. If I do have a collab and I can't make it, I will let the person or the people I'm collabing with know ahead of time.
Hmm.
Just because, I mean, I'll do my best at least to let them know ahead of time, just out of respect, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to waste their time. As for like letting my community know that I'm canceling stream, I don't have a stream schedule, so I can't exactly cancel streams. It's just about letting them know when I'm live.
Hmm. Yeah, I need to get back into
My-
making schedules.
I do have a weekly schedule, but right now it's divided into two parts. There's the afternoon gaming, which can
Mhm.
be, I usually write 6 p.m. my time, but it can be a bit later than that, or earlier sometimes. It's very fickle. But then there's collabs. Collabs have a very, very specific time, and it
Yeah.
always happens that time. I am not late for collabs. We do this podcast, it's always on time. If, God forbid, I need to cancel, I think I canceled a collab like twice or three times in my life. If I need to cancel a collab for any reason, I would let them know as soon as possible. It is unimaginable to me to not let your collab partners know that you can't make it. It's just unacceptable. The moment you know that you cannot make it, you have to tell them as soon as possible because you're wasting their time, you're wasting their viewers' time. They could find another thing to do right now. You have the responsibility as someone else. Now, obviously, you can do whatever you want, but if you do that, it looks very unprofessional, and the result will be that they will not work with you anymore. I have, it's not really a blacklist, right? But I have this kind of blacklist of people.
Yeah, if
It's not
people just
written.
like no show, that's like maybe I
Mm-hmm.
won't
Exactly.
hit them up again for a collab.
Exactly.
Especially if it's someone I don't know. Because I did have some situations where um it was close friends who didn't show. And
Mhm.
I did talk to them after and they told me what happened and they just honestly did not have the time or were too stressed to let me know. And if it's close friends, I'm willing to just like let it slide. But if it's someone I don't really know, if they just no show, I'm just not gonna hit them up again for a collab.
Yeah. There's a few people that I used to collab with, or maybe collab once, and then I get them vibes of like unresponsible vibes. They won't tell you when they're not gonna show up. Um, some cases they won't show up for your collab, but then they would stream with someone else at the same time.
That's even worse because I've
Mm.
had that happen, and it's like, okay, so you're not gonna tell me that you can't make it. We had a collab planned, and now you're just gonna start stream like 30 minutes after our collab was meant to be and stream with someone else.
Yeah, that's
Do
actually
you
happened to
not see
me.
that as a problem?
Happened to me recently, and that's a messed up. That's
That
really
Do
is
messed
you
up.
definitely a
not
red
see that?
flag too.
Yeah, do you not
Yeah.
see it as a problem? Like, how?
And
That's.
I don't care if you don't want to collab with me and you want to collab with someone else. Tell me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's stupid, right? Nobody would tell you, "Hey, I don't want to collab with you." Nobody would tell you that. But um, and it looks bad. Know that it looks
I
bad. Know
mean,
that
it's better than not showing up and then streaming with someone else.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Not showing up and streamers. You can say there was someone that I scheduled to collab with, but over the week I kind of watched their stream a bit, and I felt like I did a mistake. I didn't want to collab with that person. I
Mhm.
don't know why. It just felt bad. I just didn't want. There's red flags. I just didn't want to. So I told them, listen, I'm really tired, and I don't feel like collabing, and and I'm sorry, and so on. And they accepted it, and I didn't stream at the same time. Just went to sleep.
Fair enough.
Streaming at the same time with someone else would be outrageous. Like, what the fuck? That would basically be like spitting in their face and saying,
Yeah.
I don't want to stream with you.
Yeah, so Spastic says double booking does happen, but just don't ghost someone. Like as long as like
Well, yeah, just
yeah,
tell
just
them.
don't
Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
be honest with them. Like, hey, like I accidentally like booked two
double
collabs
booked.
at the same time. Can we reschedule this one to
Exactly.
another date?
And
well,
that's
yeah, because
something,
that
if
happened to me
you,
before too.
yeah,
Um, where I forgot about one collab and I set up another one, and then, the second one that I set up, I had to reschedule because I had one planned already.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
But I
and that's another
didn't just
thing. If you,
no showed.
exactly, if you don't, if you can't make it, and you don't have a problem with the person, reschedule. It's your responsibility to reschedule. I have
Yeah.
so many collabs that have been cancelled, and I told the people, okay, it's on your head. You need to reschedule now. And they said, okay, I'll come back to you tomorrow and reschedule. And they never do that. Um, and I
I mean,
understand
yeah.
they have a different problem, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't promise that you're going to reschedule.
Yeah, I think when it comes to rescheduling after canceling a collab, it's up to the person who canceled it.
Yes, exactly.
Because if someone canceled a collab that I was supposed to have with them, um I'm not going to reschedule for them. If they want to do that collab, they can hit me up and reschedule.
Yeah. There's a story that I told Nick's like the last three podcasts that there was a person that got into big drama recently, and the name was very familiar to me.
Mhm.
So I went to our DMs and I saw that actually I was talking to that person a few months ago, and we were supposed to collabs, and they canceled the collab and told me to reschedule, and I rescheduled a collab with them, and they canceled 5 times
That's
until I
just too
reached the point
many.
that I just didn't bother
Yeah,
anymore,
just no, fuck that.
and I said, okay, once is enough. One time they cancel, it's on them to reschedule.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just kind of how I am. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna cancel it, but I still want to stream with the person, I'll worry about rescheduling. But if
Yeah,
someone cancels a collab on me, it's not on me to reschedule it.
exactly. And one more thing, I think is you can be a bit more straightforward with that person. Listen, you cancelled my collab last time. You ghosted me. You streamed with someone else. You didn't tell me. How can I trust you that it won't happen this time? Um, and then you can get answers like, "I'll do better," or you can get answers like, "I'm sorry, just my life is really busy right now," which I got. This kind of answer that I got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really
See,
really busy right now. So don't ask me for a collab if you're busy.
okay, but if you streamed with someone else, clearly you were not busy. You could have
Exactly.
streamed.
So that's not the issue. Something else is the issue. It's me who's the issue maybe. Um, and it's okay if you have an issue with me. It's okay if our energies doesn't match. It's okay if maybe I'm too chaotic or too wholesome for you or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Don't
it's not.
promise to. Don't be this double face who promise to collab with me and then disappear.
Well, yeah, again,
Yeah.
because sometimes there are people that I do talk to and play with, but I don't collab with, and it's nothing against the person. It's just that our vibes on stream don't match, and that happens. It's
Yeah,
fine.
Mm-hmm.
completely normal.
You can still be friends with someone and not stream with them.
Yeah. Also, something
That
I want to tell to myself basically. Sometimes you might feel like the vibes are perfectly going, but from the other person's perspective, they're not.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
got that many, many times. I felt like I'm vibing greatly with someone, but then they it just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. And like kind of going back to like what Broken had said, like there's sometimes like you play games with people off stream, but you never stream with them. That kind of goes back to Mimic and I. Mimic, we've never played a game together. All of our streams together have literally been just chatting or just talking streams. We've
Yeah. To be
never once
fair,
played a game.
I rarely play games on collabs before because it's really hard to find games to collab with.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any idea for a game, tell me. I think the last game I played in a collab with someone was like 2 months ago. That is kind of
Wow.
Last
crazy.
time I played a game in a collab was yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, there's the keep talking. Oh, so this keep talking, nobody explodes. That every once
Mm-hmm.
in a while we repeat because I just don't have other games. And Nix, you're from America, I'm from Israel. We have lags, so many action games will have very big lags.
Mm.
Recently, what I've started doing is play like visual novels. Last
Mm.
Thursday, I played a visual novel with Alnichi, and we did voice acting of the game. Um, and also, to be honest, I'm kind of tired of of trying to find games to collab with.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
Yeah,
find
it's
a game to
hard.
collab, and you tell me, I'll do it. I'll be down to it.
It's hard because even
See, a
I like
lot
right
of
now
the
struggle
times,
with games.
yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of the times when I'm trying to plan collabs with people, I just add them on Steam, and I'm honestly like, okay, these are the like one or two games I don't want to play because I just don't enjoy them.
yeah,
Look through our common games and our Steam libraries. Anything other than those two that you want to play, I'm down. And
Hmm.
that's kind of how I pick the games for the collab. Because it's just easier. They see your Steam library, they see the games you have in common, they see what they feel like collabing with you on.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There was what was it, a month ago or 2 months ago? There was Jay Spade. He came out of nowhere. He was in a few of my streams, got to know me, talked to me in a DM, and then he wanted to collab. And I didn't really know him, so I didn't know what. I said, you know what? Okay, here's my Steam library. It's on my Discord profile. You choose. He went to my Steam library, chose Skullgirls, which I never played, and we played that. It was pretty nice. It was
Mhm.
pretty fun. Very easy collab. So it's very easy to. It's simple. It's possible to make other people plan collabs as well.
Mm.
But I feel like I always, because most of the time I have the bigger numbers, I feel like I have the responsibility to choose the game and to choose the activity, to schedule everything. But it's completely okay to let someone else do that every
Yeah,
once in a
because
while.
I don't want to go chasing people. It's like, okay, do you want to play this game? No. Do you want to play this game? No. Do you want to play this game? No. Okay, so it's like
Exactly.
I would rather just send them my Steam and be like, okay, these like one, two, three games I don't enjoy. Anything else we have in common, I'm down to play.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you want to play, and we can figure out a time later.
And the time is the problem with me. It's like, do you want to play
Yeah,
for Thursday? No. Do you want to play one day? Okay, listen, I'm available every day except Monday. Okay, can you do Tuesday? No, Tuesday I have something. Okay, can you do Wednesday? No, Wednesday I have something. It's like people
that's
don't know how to
honestly
schedule.
that's a lot of the times why I'm like, before I schedule a collab, I look at my other collabs that I have coming up, and I'm like, okay, these like 1 or 2 days I'm not free. Any other day I am free to collab.
So people tell me that, and then they remember that they have other days that they're not busy. That they're busy.
That's why I have everything written down.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
please do that.
If I
I
like,
remember there were two big VTubers, like in the 20,000 followers, who asked one day on Twitter if anyone want to collab with them, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. One of them is Celeste, which I still collab with every once in a while.
Mhm.
Celeste was the most organized person ever. She sent me her schedule. She sent me the list of games. We chose a game, we chose a day, and it happened. And the other person chose me a schedule, sent me a schedule. I picked a day. The day reached, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got something. Can we do it next week?" And I scheduled for next week, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, something came up." I rescheduled for next week, and then they went again. "Oh, I'm sorry, something came up again. Can we do next week?" And I said, "Okay. Why don't you tell me next week before that? Tell me just 24 hours
Yeah,
before."
I was gonna say I think I was a day early with Nyx before.
Broken was like, "Are you ready?" I'm just like, "What are you talking about?
She was like, it's tomorrow, and I'm like,
It's
oh shit.
tomorrow."
Yeah, freaking Americans are in the past.
Like, I remember that because I texted Nyx like I think like 30 minutes before the hour we were supposed to collab, and I'm like, hey, are you ready? And she's like, bro, it's tomorrow, and I'm like, well, fucking time zones. And then I went back to sleep because it was also like at 1 a.m. our time.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I
So I
just
was
That's
had
why.
awake
woken
at 1
up.
a.m. and I
Oh my
texted
god.
Nyx, and I'm like, are you ready? And she's like, it's tomorrow, you fucking idiot.
When I did the first season, I used to bend to American times, and I did all of them at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And then when I did the second season, I was like, no, 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 no. All of you Americans, you're gonna stream afternoon. You're gonna stream noon or morning. You're gonna find a time where I can normally have a normal sleep cycle.
See, I don't mind streaming like in the middle of the night. I really don't. It's just difficult whenever I try to set up a collab with someone that's from somewhere else and they give me like, okay, I'm free at like this time in my time zone, and it's like, okay, what day is it for me? Like,
Mm.
what day does that end up being for me?
That's why I'm actually so happy that Mimic showed me Hammer Time, so now I can do that
Yeah, hammer time is a lifesaver.
until daylight saving comes around. Then that messes me up.
Yes.
Because I have a friend. I was talking to him earlier today because we're trying to figure out when, like, me, him, and another one of our friends can play. The difficult thing is, I'm in Israel, he's in Asia, and our other friends in the US. And every time we try
Oh,
to figure out a time, and he says, like, he gives me a day, he's like, but that's like in her time. And it's like, why are you giving me the day in US time zone?
it's like give it
Actually,
to me
that's the
in my
best for
time
you
zone.
because
Are you
it's the
trying to
best for
make me
you.
confused?
It's the best for you because you can do it in like your noon, 3 p.m. It's their morning and their evening, and that's perfect.
That's true if he had a normal sleeping schedule.
Yeah.
So it's always like, okay, I get it. This day you're free, but can you tell me in my time zone what time it's gonna be? And like, why do I get it in US time zone? You're not even from the US, you're from Asia. What's the point?
There's people who just use the Asian time because it's easier to just bend to where more streamers are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
always gotta like convert the time. It's like, what time is this gonna be for me?
the converting is like the hard part because you're just like, am I converting the right time?
Right? It's like, is this the right time or is it, did I fuck up?
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're heading towards 10 o'clock. So, one thing we normally do at the end of each podcast, Broken, is we we have takeaways. So, it's one thing you took away from the podcast that you want everyone to remember.
I'll take sushi.
Oh, I'm with him.
A
I
lesson
love
that you
food.
learned. Let me
Food is
rephrase that.
important.
Let's see. We talked about face streamers. We talked about merch. We talked about jealousy. We talked about reaching out to bigger and smaller streamers. You know what? I'll go with make a VTuber house. It's more of a memo to myself.
Make a
You know
VTuber
what? That is
house.
fair. That is fair. Um, what's the takeaway for everyone? If you ever wanted to try VTubing or facecam streaming and you're on the other side, give it a shot. Don't listen to the toxic VTuber community. They'll get mad at you. Try it. You're not gonna lose anything.
So try it. You're not
Just
gonna
give
lose
it a
it.
shot.
Give it a shot. Hey Nix, what's your takeaway?
I'm trying to think of something that I haven't said before. If I say be comfortable, I already said that before.
Mm-hmm. Nix is not very creative. But maybe you can talk about something that's in your passion, like your feet.
Um,
Bully Nyx for feed pics.
let's not. They've already bullied me enough yesterday. um,
Send fits. Send make
I'm trying
make
to be creative. Reach out to people if you want collabs.
reach out to people.
More, I think a big part is like learn how to reach out to people.
Learn to reach out. There we go.
Because I feel
Learn
like I
how
talk
to
to a lot
reach
of
out.
people who are like, "Oh, I'm too shy," and it's like, well, you're gonna have to network at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You need the Israeli chutzpah. And the Jewish chutzpah.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, that's Arrow asked me many times. How are you able to send people DMs and ask for collabs? I'm like, I
I
don't
feel
know.
like
I'm Jewish.
I feel
I'm
like
Israeli.
everyone here we're a little bit overconfident. So it's like
Yeah, that's like what's the worst that can happen?
they're
Yeah,
gonna
what's
say
the
no.
worst? Yeah, the worst that happens is they say no.
Yeah, I'll go to someone else. There's other people.
You at least made an
I'll,
attempt.
I
I'll
know,
be
right? What they gonna do?
offended.
Flame me for reaching out? Like,
Some people do that actually.
yeah, but that
But
doesn't
that will
really
be on
work
them.
very well for canceling
Yeah,
someone. It's like,
that
oh,
looks
this
bad.
person wanted to collab with me.
That person wanted to collab, and how dare they?
I know, right? How dare you want to collab?
How dare you want to collab? Never again.
Never do that mistake again, nerd.
My new aim is to collab with the biggest Jewish VTuber I know, which is Naxtaku.
Hey, Spazzy, shut the fuck up. You love me.
Don't accept DMs from demon boys with big chests. Mm,
I feel like I
Yes,
know a few of
I
them.
feel like I am. I feel like I'm
Take
personally
away.
targeted here.
But aren't you a fallen angel?
Yes, but he still calls me a demon because he's a little shithead.
Uh One last thing. What is everyone's plans for the rest of the day, or when is your next stream?
Sleep.
I have so much studies. I'm gonna drown myself in academic articles. Uh, and then tomorrow I might stream. I'll release a schedule. I don't know. Check out my Twitter because I should stream tomorrow. I just have no idea what. I have a few games in options. Maybe we'll do retro weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired. I had 2 collabs yesterday and one in this podcast today, so I'm just kind of tired.
Yeah, sleep sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I will be back with possibly a stream later today. I don't know exactly what time, but I will be finishing my push-ups and squats during that. The attempts will be made to finish it, actually. Let me restate that.
Nix is buff.
Let me restate that. I still have 215 squats and 74 push-ups left to do.
You got this.
I should have done what Mimic done and do jumping jacks. But
Yeah, I told you.
You
But
should
we
just do a
chose-
250-second plank.
Fitness stream when?
fitness stream when I'm not so sore. I did, how many did I do yesterday? I did 40 push-ups yesterday and 140 squats yesterday.
Oh my god.
Oof.
And so I still have 215 squats and 74 push-ups left.
Oh, how fun.
So I will be doing that later today, hopefully. And Mimic, next week on your channel?
Yep, on Thursday, I believe.
Yes. So next
week, Thursday, as usual, on my channel with a special guest and who are we gonna raid, Nix?
Let's see. We are going to raid someone we've had on the podcast before, actually.
Ooh, let's go.
We are going to go ahead and raid over to Evil Rulers, who always starts his streams off with a podcast.
That's
Oh my god,
great.
daddy.
Yes.
Daddy.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by, and we will see you next week on Mimic's channel.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you later. I'll be back.
We'll see
Bye.
you guys next week. And Broken, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Wait, does that say feet raid?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Have
No,
a
I
good
think
one,
you're not
everyone.
reading that correctly.
We are rated out.
Ooh, 11 raid.